Papa Brad. Welcome to the iiRcadians, the show for fans of the iiRcade. While you're here, don't forget to slam that like button. And why don't you subscribe to the channel? It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. Thank you. And on with the show. iiRcadians assemble. All right, iiRcadians assemble.
Woo!
Hey,
Wait a minute. Let me get.
you don't have us on the screen.
I know. What happened? She's taking over the show.
It's a staring contest. Don't blink.
I know. Man, I am
very important.
I am grateful for this awesome community we are part of. Hey, what's happening?
Hey, it's very important that I get this off my chest, Papa Brad. I am the Reaper, and I cometh. And your show is now canceled.
It's
canceled.
Hours.
It's done.
I know. They finally got to the iiRcadians. We're gone.
What am I seeing
it's
here?
Done, Brad.
You guys are wearing the same outfit.
So anyway, yeah. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We have a special guest, Mystery Encoder. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm wondering why.
Okay. Well, welcome to the show.
I get sent a link and go, it's the iiRcadians. I'm like, oh.
By the way,
see what happens.
By the way, nice work.
Yeah, definitely. Like we've said before, definitely appreciate everything you do. Yeah, it's all about video game preservation, and definitely I'd love to make sure we keep playing these old games. And I don't like when they keep getting taken away from us.
Oh, by the way, were you guys aware that Your Average Gamer is streaming right now, and his show is also called WRP?
Is it really?
Oh no. This is a theme show. This is a theme show. We're doing. We remain playing. Like, this is the last day that the store's open, so it's just like it's the closure of the store, but we remain playing after today. Even though we can't put any more games on it from the iiRcade store, we're going to remain playing. So this is a final send-off for iiRcade today, as we actually, the store is closed 9 minutes ago, guys. So
9 minutes ago.
People are saying it's still up.
Is it?
It's up, but you can't buy stuff. If you click on the title, it doesn't let you buy. I just looked.
I was able to add it to cart.
Were you really? I wasn't able to. I'll try it again. Interesting. They want more people to sign back on so they could take away your games.
Yeah. I'm not signing on. I don't think it's wise at this point to sign on
because
there's not going to be any added to. It's going to be taking away.
Yeah, isn't it true they took Interstellar Circus away? They're starting to pull it off people's cabinets that have it. Like I heard that.
Yeah,
they
the
literally
developers aren't happy about it, but I'll say that I mean it's not a big deal. It's
not a big deal, but
no. Well, I'm saying that to kind of alleviate people's concerns that they won't be able to get it some way later, and that it'll be easy enough for anybody to really do it.
Thank you. Oh, absolutely. So you heard it here first, guys. So don't you worry. Don't stress that you didn't get the opportunity to get that copy on your system. Just give it some time.
And with that specifically, it's not something where it's like, hey, we're going to upload this ROM on the internet. It's like this developer's trying to make it available to you. It's not, it's legit.
Oh yeah, I was just talking to these guys a little bit earlier tonight, and yeah, they're a great bunch of guys. And for this to be their first game. Wow.
Yeah, they reached out to me too. I mean, this is not even the finished, polished game. They rushed it out the door to get it to us, and it's incredible. I mean, it's a great game right now. So it would only have been better. So it's good to get to experience it,
Yeah, and that's what I said. The biggest way we could pay it forward to these guys, since it is on our cabinet, and we have the ability to stream with the HDMI out, is to showcase this game, get people interested in it, and tell them where to go get it, to help those developers for their next project going forward. So definitely, guys, pick this game up on Steam. I believe it's called Killer Clowns. There was a name change, so definitely head over there.
Yeah, it's available right now for $4.99. Killer Clowns on Steam, and I'm definitely going to pick it up and probably do another stream and compare it to the iArcade.
That'd be pretty cool.
Version. But they had to rush. They had to rush the iArcade version. They just wanted to get what they had so far out, and I really appreciate it. We had two indie companies that really stepped up. In-City Games gave away 9 of their games for free at the last minute, so that we can enjoy them on our dead consoles, the iArcade. And also,
I don't know if it's dead.
Hey, it's not dead yet. It's up to you. I mean, we're going to need your help.
Not even just that, but to their point, it's not. Well, I would say it's not like you lose your games.
Yeah. No, you don't lose your games. That is true. That is true.
Well, and I don't know if we know that's true, because what happens when anyway.
But I heard they just have been erasing games from people's accounts.
I heard. Yeah.
I don't want to lose any of the games that I have now.
Yeah, I was just talking to Footy, and Footy told me that they erased all the games he downloaded via that method except for Double Dragon.
No. Wow. Yeah. Wow. So I would just say disconnect from the internet at least for a little while. To be safe.
That's dirty pool.
Oh
my gosh.
If it alleviates anybody's concerns, once there is some sort of, I don't even want to call it a mod, if there is any sort of revival available, it will completely disconnect from any of their servers and connect to our own, where we as the community kind of control it.
Uh-huh.
That sounds fantastic.
So that there's nothing where somebody can just, I'm going to delete all of your games.
Yeah.
Like, come on, we paid money. We supported you all this time, and to turn around and do this at the end, like, that leaves a bad taste in my mouth
too. Yeah, the thing is, the whole time, their tagline has been, "You will never lose the games once they're on your cabinet."
And that's scary.
Time.
What happens
that is
if
scary.
a licensor tells them, like, "Hey, you know what? We don't want this game on your cabinets anymore."
Yeah.
Like if their agreement that they made with them wasn't solid, they lose a lawsuit or something like that. Something where it's just completely out of their hands, where they can't fight back with this licensor, and then they're like, "Oh well, I guess we got to remove this from everybody's cabinet now that we know that's possible."
But they're going bankrupt. Exactly.
No, I just meant like if they weren't in general. Like
okay.
That was a possible scenario.
That's what I don't get. If they're going bankrupt, what difference does it make?
Yeah, I mean, but he's talking about the different scenario. But yeah.
If they hadn't been going bankrupt and you paid for some games, the fact they have the ability to remove them without your approval is what I'm getting at. Like that's scary, because they could have gotten a lawsuit with somebody, lost the lawsuit, and then had
Goofy Foot, welcome to the stream.
Yeah, and we've spent like hundreds of dollars over the years. We've the time that we've had it.
The other scary thing that they did was this is the first time that they've ever mass removed something from a bunch of cabinets. What's to say that wouldn't have bricked a bunch of stuff? They went ahead and took that risk anyways. So what I was telling somebody else was like, obviously they cared more about their licensors than their consumers because they were willing to take that risk to please licensors.
That breaks my heart to hear that.
Yeah.
That does.
So I'm trying to get your envisionment of the future of iArcade would be to be able to let indie developers still release titles and find a way to come to the iArcade.
Yeah. So when I was talking about that on B's stream, you guys can tell me how technical you want me to get with this, but the idea is like the problem first is iArcade accept payment, right? Like you have to pay them to get something on your cabinet. Developers, any developer, anybody that runs a store whatsoever has the ability to accept a payment and to detect that payment was made, whether it be through PayPal, a credit card, or something else, Shopify, whatever, all the stores. An idea that I have is that if we could allow developers to get that device ID, the same one that, I forget what it's called. Etinsoft? Is that their name?
Yeah, Etinsoft.
The same one they asked everybody for. If they could get it to where you put that in when you make this purchase in their store and we give them some kind of
Just
URL.
pushes it out.
Like we manually enter our ID in the checkout process.
It's not as convenient as going to some central store, but at the same time, it removes the central person from moderating things. And then you give this developer like, hey, here's this API thing, put a device ID in, put a URL to your app, and it'll download it to that person's cabinet.
That would be awesome because then we could still get games.
Then there's nobody required to publish it. There's nobody required for them to talk to for an update. They just, once people are in their system, they just push it.
That's pretty awesome.
That sounds perfect.
And that obviously requires us to control the ecosystem, which is the first goal. Is how do we actually do that?
Welcome to the show, T.
And if you can find a solution to that, then
there is a solution. I actually have one in my back pocket already, so it's not like
you can keep that if you need to. Yeah.
My problem with it is that it's not as simple as I would like it to be. Like on the first firmware of this. At every firmware, they say that they're adding security, but in my opinion, they kind of did some stuff that screwed consumers more than it did for the security of the cabinet. But like, for instance, on B's stream, if anybody caught the end of it, I mentioned that there was a secret key combo, almost like an Easter egg that allowed you to get into a keyboard test.
You showed that.
It used to be an admin menu in the first firmware.
And that would have been a lot easier to use.
Huh?
That would have been better to have that admin menu from what you said, right?
Yeah, the admin menu had like an IP address thing where you could just change the IP address of the server it connected to. And why that's important for consumers versus like harmful towards consumers versus being more of a security measure, in my opinion, is the fact that if anybody understands the difference between like a domain versus an IP address, they pointed to an IP address in Amazon, and those can change. So if that changed, your cabinet no longer connects to anything, and they have no way to recover.
But
that was like extremely dangerous.
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want to go down that road.
So
if you are disconnected from, I have a chat here. Maybe I'm not smart enough, but how do they remove games when the machine is offline? If it's offline, I think you're safe. Once you have whatever's on it, unless you connect back online, you're safe. Is it right, Mr. Encoder?
Once you connect back online?
Offline.
Yeah, I had this question. It says
you don't want to go online at all right now.
Maybe I'm just not smart enough, but how do they remove the games when the machine is offline?
They don't.
So
not
for some people, they are getting removed while they're offline. But the problem with that is that everything is a queue system, right? It's like cached almost inside of your cabinet.
Okay.
So let's say that your cabinet already received the action to remove it, but you turned it off before it was able to do it.
Yeah. Okay, I understand what you're saying. So the thing to do then, if the app or the website is still up, to go into your library and look for those queues and cancel them.
Well, no, you wouldn't be able to cancel the request they did. They did it on the back end.
Oh, and so it wouldn't show up the back end. Okay.
No,
it would show up in your...
They made sure. So the problem is, at this point, if you've connected and that request went out, they sent like a giant request to everybody. It's almost like if you meld somebody a bunch of stuff, right? If you, I don't know. It's weird. It's hard to explain. I'm trying to find an analogy. I can't. But if it can go into a backlog on your cabinet itself if they were online when the request got pushed. So like the people that are saying it happened offline, it didn't technically happen offline. They went connected to the server. The request was backlogged in their cabinet already. When they turned it back on, it executed it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if they were offline since yesterday, it's not going to happen. But
which I did. I did pop back online this afternoon, or probably around 4 p.m. Eastern, and there was nothing pushed to my system. I still have the old attract mode. I know there was a concern that they changed the attract mode to something crappy. Me and Step had actually compared the attract
my track mode changed to 2 a.m. or whatever it was. Then I got offline.
And nothing happened. I disconnected shortly thereafter, so nothing got removed. I still have everything. So it was actually so nothing was in queue. I think that was my point. During that time when I went back online.
But if they went on after that, even if they turned it off, like by the time that their cabinet got it, that was it. It was there, even if they didn't see it when it happened.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank God I missed that and I stayed offline during that time.
It's like I said earlier, it's not a big deal. I mean, it sucks because it means that you got to wait a little longer, but
true,
a little longer. It's not a.
But just
the end of the world.
Just the underlying feeling behind around all of this.
It's pretty
from
invasive.
Their company. I feel violated essentially. Really, that's what the feeling. Like you came into my home, you kicked the door out, and you took something out of my home. That's what it feels like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The fact that's possible without your approval. That's kind of where I was going with the scenario of if they didn't go bankrupt. Like,
why end it on this note? Why end it? Like they were ending it on such a positive.
So, I told B before we went live on, what was it, Sunday? I told him that this is exactly what would happen. I told him, like, I don't know if I want to release this publicly because all it's going to do is cause exactly this. Because I know how licensors operate. I know how they are. And I knew that these guys would listen to them and do this. And
they would jump all over it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I called it. And I said it was a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, and more so leaning the other 50 because they hindsight, you see what happens.
So somebody said they legally are liable. They didn't have an option. Technically, that's not true. They stated to the consumers, to the public, that the code was final and they couldn't change it. So why can't that same blanket statement be made to them and say, you know what, we're sorry, our hands are off now. Instead, they went above and beyond to kind of work this out in a way that favored the licensors. And that's, And like I said, took a risk to consumers' cabinets. Like, they could have easily blanketed that statement with, you know what, we have liability if we go and try to mass remove all this stuff. We've never done it before. We have no idea what will happen. We don't know if people's cabinets will break as a result.
I've
invested, why aren't those considerations?
I've invested over $1,000 Canadian on this cabinet, and to hear that, it's deflating. Like
but has this ever actually happened? Has a game ever been mass removed from every single cabinet?
No, I've never heard of it. Never. This is. I think this is historical. I think.
So am I wrong in saying that there was a risk associated to that, and that they did that knowing that there could be a potential risk to it?
You're not wrong. No.
And that's where I'm upset. Like, I get it from the perspective of you have obligations, but you also have obligations to these people you sold these cabinets to.
Yeah. Samuel Lopez says his got wiped, but he still has Double Dragon 2 and 3. Well, those were regular games that were on the system.
Yeah, you purchased.
That's exactly what they did.
Sounds like the iiRcade folks.
Because Double Dragon was free, the first one, right? That's why it got pulled. You paid for the other two.
It might be if it's a licensed title that it just
Samuel
added
says
to library
they are legally liable. They didn't have an option.
I was talking about that. No, the reason why Double Dragon's not going to get removed, like, from my perspective, usually when I do this stuff, I'm a security engineer by trade. So when I do this stuff, I try to put my head in the like shoes of the person that's executing on the other side. And I've worked in the game industry. I actually launched 3 AAA titles while I worked in the game industry, so I kind of understand the licensing and stuff. And yeah, I forget where I was going with that. I went on a rant.
But by the way, I knew that you had this hack working long before this, and thank you for not releasing it while iiRcade was a company selling games. You waited till they're pretty much gone.
I could have been vindictive too and done a lot of other things, and I didn't want to because I wasn't trying to give them a headache. I wasn't trying to give Michael a headache. I didn't.
Well,
I don't know, man.
We're talking about them invading, like, the security and stuff like you were talking about. Yeah.
Oh, as far as Double Dragon not getting removed.
Yeah, the Double Dragon.
So if I was in their shoes and this happened, what I would have done was pretty much just taken any of the IDs that weren't listed on the store and then pushed a request. There's a request that happens when you cancel an installation of a game or you click uninstall. I would have just taken all of those IDs that weren't listed on the store and said, well, nobody's supposed to have these, so we're just going to push these ones.
Yeah, you could have done that.
And that's pretty much what happened. It was one large request where they clicked the uninstall button on every single cabinet with those IDs.
But the circus game, that's just kind of vindictive, it sounds like. Is that the case?
I mean, it was unlisted, so they probably just pulled all the unlisted ones. I don't think this is Michael or Jong doing this. Somebody else told me earlier that their developers are in India, so they probably just went to these guys in India and said, there's some unlisted games that were in the store. Can you make a way to remove them?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think one app was specifically targeted. I think it was more so this is the list of IDs that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, just a whole grouping, not singling out any single game. Yeah.
And they probably panicked and rushed it because somebody was pushing them. Who knows?
Yeah.
Time crunch.
That makes more sense.
We'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Well, maybe down the road we might, but now, no. It might be revealed later. We'll see.
But I don't think it was to harm anybody. I don't think it was like vindictive against them for trying to push their game that way versus an official way or anything like that. I think it was more so just like
to cover their
backside, let's throw these IDs in there and they're unlisted games, and that's why people have the Coleco and the Double Dragon and all of that, even if they got the games removed, because those are part of the store.
Yeah, those were official games.
Even if they're unlisted now, people could have legitimately purchased.
Be paid for them, and they wouldn't know. They'd have to go through and
they'd have
that's
to
too much of a task
for it and everything else, and that's a way bigger deal, and that's why I'm saying.
So would you say this statement is accurate? What iiRcade did was a bit reckless? Would you say that's pretty accurate?
I'd say it's reckless. Yeah, I mean that's what I was saying, because they didn't test this capability. They just let's just do this to a bunch of cabinets and hope for the best.
Push the the big red button.
And so, like, in theory, uninstalling apps from a cabinet has been tested, but doing it en masse, I don't know. And doing it to multiple applications at once, like it's like 5 or 6 of them at least.
Maybe that's why I didn't get anything happening for the brief time I went back online this afternoon. Maybe there was just so much in queue that it
however many people did it, right? They had to go through all of those cabinets.
Yeah.
So who knows where you were in that line?
Yeah, that's probably it. That's what I think happened. I think there was just so much in queue that like nothing happened to my cabinet. I had it off for probably about 10 minutes or so. So something should have got pushed within that time. And it didn't. And then I went back offline. So thank God.
Yeah. Well,
you don't know. Maybe about it. Like I said, there will be other options. The developer at Insoft, they seem willing to entertain third-party solutions, is what I'll call it.
I think that's fair. I always thought this cabinet could use more indie developer titles on here, and if
for sure
there could be a store.
I think that this. It's unfortunate what happened, but I think this can actually be a positive impact on the cabinet and like
absolutely
the idea behind it, just because now these indie developers don't have to deal with somebody approving of their stuff. They don't have to
get away from the big wigs like Sony.
Yeah, they don't have to deal with 30% like charges, because I was actually told that for people that weren't able to make exclusive licensing deals, that the charge was 30% on their games.
That's too much. Greedy guys. But everybody's got to eat. But still, they made the game. Give them a little bit more. Big corporations like that.
He said see post.
See post.
Will it be restored for everyone, or will it only be restored for the 20 they pushed it to in the first place?
Yeah, they only sent it out to 20 people.
Yeah, that is true. Just 20 people, because they went on Facebook and they did a little video themselves, a live video, and yeah, they explained what happened. They wanted to push it to everybody, but they got told they could only have a limit of what they would do.
So they did say, hey guys, iiRcade just emailed me back, told me they'll be trying to get our game back on the system. I'll let you know we hear back. So that's possible. I mean, if they have a log of everybody they removed it from, they could always just repush it to all those same people.
Yeah.
The same way that I pushed it, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, okay, so not to bring drama into this, but the Rexer thing.
Oh dear.
I want to very briefly cover the Rexer thing. I'm not going to get into what he said or legality of things. I won't start drama. All I want to say is that he used the wording that a company's software was changed that was proprietary to them. That is not true.
I don't even understand what his statement, what that means, what he said there.
Have any of you ever...
Yeah, you have to explain it to us. Can you dumb it down a little bit?
No, he's trying to claim that I modified their store. Essentially.
No, you did not. You did not. No, you did not. No.
It modifies HTML that's in your
that's
browser
what you did. Yeah.
on your page. It does nothing to their store.
No.
That's the only thing I wanted to say to clarify that.
No, I agree. That's exactly
and that's
what
why
you did.
in no way was it a hack whatsoever.
No.
There are extensions for your browser that do the same thing, like Better Discord. Or
I would say it's iiRcade's fault for having it there, hidden on their webpage. They shouldn't have had it there in the first place.
I mean, now that they patched it, I can say that would have allowed you to pirate any game in the store, and I didn't enable that. So,
we commend you for doing that, because that takes money out of the developers' hands.
No, and that's what I'm saying. If I wanted, like, if we were trying to be vindictive or harmful towards them, there could have been a thing where instead of a buy now button, it replaced them all with a download button. You know, like
Here's the thing too, like I had no problem supporting developers. I loved buying games, but with the system
that's my
not
goal.
Having a store, I mean, it's not like you really have a choice,
Well, and then that's the thing, right? Is for whatever reason, Tank Bash was never published. Maybe because it was unfinished. Developers like Ettonsoft are going to them saying, "Hey, can we get this free too? This Heavy Metal Titans game is getting out there free. Like, we want people to check out our game. It's a great opportunity for us to advertise this thing." And then get denied, and it's like, okay, well, that sucks. And the blanket excuse was, well, the store is final the way it is. We don't want to change it.
Yeah, it is kind of the 12th hour, though. I mean, they're pretty much done. This is the last of the last. But that's not a good way to go out. I agree with you.
And remove it and all this stuff.
Why bother doing all that? I mean, the last hour. I mean,
that's the mistake I personally made. I'll admit to that maybe I shouldn't have had Double Dragon and stuff on there, because those are the licensors that are going to have a problem with it. We probably should have stuck to only listing specific titles that were ones like Bill's or Bash Studio, rather, not Bill.
The ones that deserve the recognition.
And soft.
Yeah, the ones that or Metal Slug. Even Metal Slug is probably the one that caused all of the drama here. But
yeah, absolutely. But I get it. Absolutely.
There was a very strong myth around that game that game was developed for iiRcade and was never released. So it was really awesome when we found out that was completely true, and that game
I don't know anything about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it was like
we had heard through the grapevine that they had Metal Slug, and then
I was trying to archive all the screenshots and stuff from the website, because once the store goes down, we don't have any of these screenshots and stuff of all of these games or like trailer videos. And so like I wrote a script to do that, and all these other things started popping up, and I'm like, wait, what's this? That's not on the store. What's this? That's not on the store. And that's how this all kind of came to be. Just where it was like, oh, people might
a fortunate accident.
Yeah, people might actually take interest in this. Yeah. And so I was like, what is this? What is this? Yeah. And then, just started talking to Bill and talking to I talked to Ettonsoft later after they got told they could only push it to 20. I actually gave them a different version of that script that only had a button for their game too, and they pointed to B's video instead. because I wanted them to be able to be ethical about it and be like, here's this alternative method to get our game, and then that way it's only pointing to theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, just not to ruffle the feathers any further. Absolutely, I get it.
Samuel
still,
Lopez has a question.
it
Would
still
an
upset
unfinished game
them
harm a
anyway.
cab like Brick It or something? Can a game brick a cab?
I've gone through all these games and no bricking. My cabinet's fine. All I say with Metal Slug, is the update message still pops up even when you're offline. So just decline it and then play the game. And
can they make something offline that would destroy the program, Mystery Encoder?
No, not now that you're offline.
Yeah, but
even if it says, do you want to update when you're
that's
offline?
the thing about this backlog thing, right? Is the update technically is already downloaded on your cabinet. It just
so yeah, it's just waiting for me to. Okay,
it's like if you download a program on your computer,
like a virus,
but you don't click the install button yet. You know.
I get it. Okay. So yeah, I just have to be very, very careful not to double tap A when I load that game because it's an A press right after you hit A
to some way to remove the update.
Okay, right, awesome. That's what
I got going on too. I keep having to make sure. Press B. Press B.
I wouldn't worry about it.
No.
So I mean, a year and a half ago, I already had remote access to my arcade and had console on it and everything, and it was just what baffled me was the fact that Michael kept saying like, we can't open it because it's too secure. It's one thing to say your licensors won't allow it. It's almost like taunting somebody that enjoys doing this stuff when you say that it's too secure.
Yeah.
Poke the bear. Yeah, here we go.
How powerful is the iArcade hardware? Can it run Dreamcast games?
Yeah, absolutely.
No problem.
Oh yeah,
it's
definitely you can tell.
So what I would say and what I tell people when we're doing like arcade 1-up stuff and stuff like that too is just look up the chipset itself and type emulator or whatever on YouTube and see what other people have played with it. So in this case, it's what the Arcade 3399. So if you looked up Arcade 3399 on YouTube and put emulator or something, and you saw somebody playing a Wii game, we could probably get a Wii game playing, or a GameCube game, or like I think ETA Prime usually does some like reviews of different boards and chips where he shows off like, I got this far to run on here. Like, I don't think you'll be running Genshin Impact on it, but.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Brother Bill.
Brother Bill's here.
What's going on, people? We're talking with Mystery Coder about the future of your iArcade cabinet. That's what we're doing.
Absolutely. And
I liked earlier how MCAP goes, anything's possible. And I said, yeah, and bankruptcy, apparently.
Well,
including robbing your system of the games while you sleep.
Yeah, anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Keep that cab disconnected from the internet for a while, just for a little while. For right now.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm hoping that this unfortunate situation breathes new life into it and allows us to see more indie developers taking interest. I think that'd be really cool. I think the platform, as in like arcade sticks in general, especially with how good these ones feel. Like, I know I talk a lot of crap on the cabinet. I have for the last few years or so.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think the cabinet's hardware and including the joysticks and buttons and stuff feel really good. And I don't have the Sanwa. I have whatever the stock ones were.
Yeah, I had both cabinets, the OG and the gold. The gold has a stronger spring in it. But I did enjoy the OG's feel of the joystick. Very, very sensitive to input. I enjoyed playing on it. I felt it was very good with the gameplay, playing in middle Mayhem Brawler and all those types of games. And even going with the 6 with the improved spring on the gold cabinet, it's still a great experience. And then I can compare it to the Arcade 1-Up products, and I really do enjoy the joysticks, both versions. Compared to the other products that I have, even the AT games, I do enjoy. But I did replace the Samwa buttons. I didn't like the click for those. So I replaced with proper Samwas. And
I bought real Samwa buttons. This is easy mod too. They're like they literally just pop in. It's like there's nothing to do. Just like take out the other one, put in the new one, and it's like and the connectors are the right size. There's literally nothing you have to do but put them on.
It feels very comfortable gameplay. I really, that's why I keep going back to this cabinet, just because of the feel of it. It feels really good playing games.
I really appreciate what people like Mystery Encoder, Glenn, To Die For do, because like I think the cabinet is very well built, and I like it a lot, honestly. And I'm fine that it looks like a candy cap. I got
welcome to the stream,
I got
Ritual
one up.
Dello.
So I don't know if this came across clearly either. I'm excited about what Glenn's doing. That's awesome. I wasn't trying to bash it when I was talking on the
too dark
stream.
down there.
I mean, I have a question. Would it be possible to do both? Like do like the Mystery Encoder possible stuff and have Glenn's stuff?
Yeah, why
Would it
not?
be possible?
He said it was switchable back and forth. So
you know, I mean, if it's switchable.
Yeah, he was actually talking, but I caught the stream that he did the idea of maybe adding an HDMI in somehow, so we can add other stuff to play on it. He
like
was hinting at that. Yeah, anything like Switch, something like that. Just anything you can add to it. So, I'm very intrigued when he mentioned that.
Yeah, we can take a quick look at the panel.
My personal thing is
What's your personal thing there?
Sorry, I just wanted to show some pictures real quick.
Well, I was letting him show the pictures if he was going to talk over.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. My personal thing is that I I kind of believe in using the hardware I already have, which is why I started the whole Arcade One Up journey of trying to reuse stock hardware instead of just immediately ripping it out and putting a PI in it. And that's
just like the
pinball,
Mars Attack, the pinball, and adding the pinner mod. Yeah, I've got that on there. Yeah,
cool. And it's not. I don't know. It's not. Yeah, and you know what? The biggest thing about the pinball. Off topic here for your guys' show, but
for a tangent, yes.
It's easier to use than a damn PC is. Like when I don't know if you've done a PC pinball.
It has to be,
but
it takes it costs money to do work, so make it streamline and make it easy. So yeah, I understand that.
And the other thing, I mean, you're like repurposing what we already have. You're using what you've got already.
Yeah,
which is valuable.
That's part of the sad part, right? Is if we just went straight to Glenn's SBC, this almost
it's not an iArcade anymore. You're running the SBC. You're running the single board computer with his controls.
That and it's harder to entice devs to go to an open platform like that because then they have to worry about piracy. Like the reason why Steam and Epic and all of those things is important, you have to remember is one, it gives a distribution mechanism. It makes it easier for people to browse and see that there's these games available. And so one thing is maybe we start pushing our own track mode videos with developers' new games if they decide they want to support this homebrew version of the platform.
And I also like to mention too, like video games are starting to be outprice people out in the market now. PlayStation games are like up here $90 for a brand new
$90 for a game is a lot.
Canadian, right?
Yeah, it's getting expensive to be buying games. I don't buy games anymore. I got the subscription service because I'll just get the games that they give me. I can't afford to go out and spend $90 here, $90 here, $90 here on a single game. I'd rather spend lesser money and get a bunch of titles, and this indie store would be something I'm very interested in seeing being developed, and I'd support it 100%.
Their own stores. That's like the main thing, is making sure that we have no involvement whatsoever. We don't make anything from it. We don't want anything from it. It's theirs, and their game is their own.
Yeah,
their money is their own.
We all got to eat, and we got families to support, and and they do the hard work making these games, and they should get the chunk of the pie, right?
Thomas, what side is that on? Is that on the community page? Does prevent e-waste too. Like, you're basically using something that you already bought,
Where I was going with the whole like piracy thing and Steam versus Epic and all of that is like the developers would be less motivated to want to push to a single board computer that has like Batocera on it or something than something that's still a closed system. And that's why I thought it was important that we don't just replace this and start putting Batocera and stuff on it. And we try to like keep the existing ecosystem with the security it has and allow developers to sort of keep that option and that sense of security, I guess I'll call it, that once they deploy it to your cabinet, it's not just going to be something somebody can grab and go give to everyone else.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. If this platform ends up being successful, Could somebody like Glenn or another arcade company that makes parts essentially make a cabinet that fits that ecosystem and sell, basically generic cabinets that people could have this ecosystem so they could download these independent developers games?
Great question, Stubbs.
That's hard to answer because it would be based on the existing operating system and software, and we don't own that stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nor does that person. So unless they buy the rights, like the intellectual property rights to the software and the OS and stuff, it's probably not possible. That doesn't mean that we couldn't develop a custom OS that developers could do a similar thing with.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. And I always thought the iArcade ecosystem should have been that from the get-go when I first got it and going through it. It should have been an indie-only cabinet. Because you don't want to be putting games on there that are emulated elsewhere because you're not going to get the game purchases, and their whole business model was to get the revenue from the game purchases. It just didn't make any sense to me. If you put those indie titles on there, you can't be easily emulated or pirated because it's a closed system. That was the direction they should have went. And honestly, with the money that they had, they should have went with a smaller handheld, built up an ecosystem first with that, because they could have made a profit off of something smaller, manufacturing, and then they could have gone, once they got in and built up a user base, gone and went this route. They went, I think, backwards, in my opinion, looking hindsight.
I want to bash him a little bit more too and say that what Jong showed is nothing. The phone thing that he showed.
Yeah, it's too late. There's too many handhelds out in the market with Steam Deck. That would have been good back in 2018, right before all this stuff came out.
I'm saying that they said that was phase 2, but that's BS because all they did was install the app on a phone. I could have installed that app on my phone right now.
Yeah, that just tells you that they were completely out of the arcade cabinet. They weren't going to build anymore. That's what.
Yeah, that wasn't like new software, is what I'm saying when he showed it on that stream.
No, it was just what was on our cabinet. Because it's an Android. Yeah, it's just an it's just an Android app. Yeah.
I've admittedly installed it on one of my arcade 1-ups and vice versa. I installed the.
Of course, you have.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on my iArcade a while ago.
And I think that's why maybe one of the reasons why the investor backed out. Just a thought is just because you see all the competition with the handhelds out there, the ecosystem that we have right now, the user base is just doesn't it just screams not viable.
They were definitely going in the wrong direction. I mean, dude, they could have done some really cool things. You mentioned subscription thing. Like, what if they had something similar to Game Pass where you just got 10 free games every month or something?
Yeah, who wouldn't have signed up? Of us, we would have all signed up for
the point. Yeah, the point. What would be from that is you're getting consistent revenue flow coming in. With this model that they have, they don't have consistent monthly revenue coming in.
It's ad hoc right now. It's if there's a good game, somebody's going to buy it. Not people are going to pay you monthly and you have a guaranteed revenue stream.
And, I think personally, like in retrospect, for me as a consumer, someone that bought several iArcades, I don't think they had enough modern games. Like they should have went more into the indie games and had a lot more modern games, and they could have been more expensive. Like they were afraid to sell any game that was over $10.
Yeah, that hurt them too. I
think that was another problem that they had, really.
Yeah,
not enough meat on the bone, right?
I mean, like there were people that would have bought like better games, like higher price games.
Dead Cells was a good example.
No one doing it. Yeah,
you could have put games like that were $30. I would have bought them.
Or Mayhem Brawler and Brock.
Games like that
looked both pretty good.
Yeah, I got them all. I paid for every single one of them.
Why didn't we see Cuphead, man?
Probably too much for the license.
Yeah, you can show us it running on iArcade.
I don't know if there is an Android build of that.
Probably not.
One experiment that I've been funny enough. The Simpsons cabinet is also Android, as a lot of people know for Arcade 1-Up stuff. The problem is there's not enough buttons on it for this. But one of the experiments that I've had in the back of my head for a long time is the fact that Shredder's Revenge released on Android. So what's to say that it doesn't just install on the cabinet? I don't know.
I'd feel totally legit doing that because I own like 3 copies of that game already. So
it's free. It's free on Android.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
I didn't even know it was free.
It is free on Android. You can download it on your phone. So I do not feel guilty about that one.
Well, that's sweet.
Oh, I would love to play that on this cabinet.
I think it would be cool. I've never tried to play the Android version on my phone.
If there was
Predator's Revenge coming soon.
Oh my god! Oh, it'd be really good.
I didn't say that. That's not what I said.
I'm sorry. No.
This is just me. Hopes and dreams going. Hopes and dreams.
Yeah, no, this is like the back of my head. Like there's things like that, or I think it was steps that I showed that Mad Bullets exists for Android. And I don't know if you guys are into PC light gun games, but Mad Bullets is cool.
I am. I like light gun games, so I've never heard of that, but I would love to try it.
It's a Western light gun game on PC. It's like Steam based. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but it's free on Android as well. I guess they just don't think their market's there.
Yeah, Rich Odello says their focus should have been unique modern games.
It can
see. Mad Bullets would have been one of those unique modern games that also applied with their light gun stuff, and they already had an Android build. So how much harder would it bring it to the iArcade?
Jason M says, modern retro games should have been their niche, and I think they had some of that, but they didn't have enough. They had some good modern retro games. They just didn't have enough. They needed more of them.
Retro's making a comeback, man. It's like,
it is.
Cuphead is one of those retro style games.
Donut Dodo, like some of these indie titles that were released on
that won't happen.
Oh man,
too much pain.
Breaking news. It sounds like the guys at Ensoft are working with them to re-upload it now.
That's good. I'm not going to reconnect though. At this point, it's not worth the risk for me.
We'll see. I think you know why? Because that's bad. I don't know, bad PR on them, and it's making the dev kind of look bad too. So maybe I don't know. They had to have had a communication. They're going to be working something.
They're trying to give something to the community for free.
To be continued, I guess. We'll have to hear what happens down the road. Yeah, wait and see.
Mm-hmm. Here's a
anyway, back to the stream, guys.
Let me ask this question. I saw a post from the makers of the Retromania Wrestling, Retrosoft, I think is their name. They were saying that they were working on an update, but they didn't have enough time to even bother releasing it. And then they basically sent a goodbye tweet basically the other day. And I had I had a little bit of tweets back and forth with them, but would it be possible to have maybe a developer such as them release an update for one of the games that are already on the cabinet in the future?
If we can get this working and people are on board, yeah, why not? So the people on board is the part where it's not modding this or turning it to where it talks to this other server isn't a major deal, but it does require some effort, right? Like, right now, the current theory is I had a theory where we could use your phone to do it. That's out. I eliminated that one last night. I was up till like 3 a.m. trying it because my goal is to make this as simple as possible and as seamless as possible. I want it to be absolutely idiot proof. I want my 6-year-old to be able to come in here and do this.
There you go.
And that's usually always my goal with everything we've done. I don't know if you guys realize that with stuff that we've done.
Pinner mod was easy. Absolutely. Thank you for that. It was so easy.
The mistake that I made with that was the UI. I put too many damn buttons.
But it was streamlined. It step by step. I had no problem.
I can see why it would be confusing though. But no. Yeah, so for some people, right now it looks like our approach is going to have to be like a software solution. Like you download something on a computer, which means a computer is required, which is unfortunate. I didn't want that to be the case. And then the good thing is that it would be both Mac and Windows based on what my current research is. And you might have to buy a Wi-Fi adapter for like $15 or less.
Yeah. A lot of people have their computer in their arcade, or they have a laptop they could put in their arcade at least. So I think using a computer would make a lot of sense.
The issue with the laptop is it needs
more power.
Well, no. It needs to be connected to Ethernet because you're going to be using your Wi-Fi for the cabinet to connect to it.
Okay.
You're going to turn your laptop or your computer into a router essentially.
Yeah, just like you would for a cell phone and like making it a hotspot.
Yeah.
So it's like it's same principle kind of thing.
Exactly.
I have all the things you already mentioned. I have a USB Wi-Fi dongle. I have a computer. I have a hardwired computer. So
man, as long as the Wi-Fi dongle does it, and that's unfortunate. I don't like having to require something most people don't have to achieve something.
Yeah, but that Amazon's pretty quick.
Yeah, I actually ordered a Wi-Fi adapter last night and got here today. So,
oh boy. But if it works, it works, right?
Yeah, and then the idea is, I think organization said that's just a soft mod. Yeah, I mean, once it's modded, like once you connect to that, some magic will happen. You'll probably get a notification something's downloading or updating on the cabinet once you connect to that Wi-Fi. And then after that, you don't have to use it anymore at all. You connect to your normal internet, and it's now connected to a whole new server. Yeah. And then we can push stuff through that whole new server. And then what we'll probably have to do is, once it's connected to that new server, we'll probably have to make a web UI like their store, where you like use that to push an APK or something to your cabinet. I don't know if you're going to sideload something.
I think that's the best route to go, because then it just makes it like seamless. You don't have to think about it, just like the original store for users, so you don't have to sit there and
you would just have the option to temporarily upload it, and then it would transfer it to the
very
cabinet.
Simple.
That's it. Yeah,
I think that would be the way to go for sure.
But it has to stay that way so that developers also have the option to push stuff.
And that's what we want. Yeah, that's what we want. We want developers on there. Put more games of theirs on the system that we can pay for. Absolutely.
The other thing that I don't like, being that it's a third-party thing, is that we would probably maintain accounts. They obviously can't be the same accounts that already exist, so you'd have to make a new account, which actually is kind of weird. I don't know how we'd keep your existing library if we did that.
I've got an idea though. What if it's like a one-time purchasing? So you go into there's no account. All you do is you type in when you check it. You type in like when you don't actually make it, you just log in as a guest or something like that. You type in you use your ID at checkout, so it pushes to your system. You type in your credit card information, whatever. Doesn't get saved.
We wouldn't do any credit card information on our website. You'd be doing that on a developer's website, or whatever, their Shopify or whatever.
Yeah, so that's fine.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want anything to do with that. That brings in PCI compliance. That brings in a bunch of
that's what we want to avoid. We don't want to enter all that. But
and I'm also a third party. People shouldn't trust me with that kind of stuff. I don't want to be trusted with that kind of stuff.
No, but to not have accounts, like if you could just push
an
ID. Yeah,
you got to remember that at heart and profession, I'm a security engineer, and I have to think about the fact that if you didn't have an account and you didn't verify that your email owned that cabinet by signing in from that cabinet, then anybody can push anything they want or delete anything they want from your cabinet.
I understand. Okay, so yeah. Ooh.
So that's why
I can understand why it's like,
I think like 30 steps ahead. I think like, what would I do if I was going to try to troll everybody on this?
Yeah, I get a sense, definitely, like that's it's starting to block up my mind. There's just so much to think about. Oh my gosh. But yeah, if there's a will, there's a way. Anything is possible. Going back to
that, if you had an account and you verified your email and you logged in, so let's say that you have an account but you're doing a password, right? Let's just say that we just require that you verify that you own this email and that you had to enter that email on that cabinet. That cabinet had to talk to our server with that email put in there. And then you get a link and you have to verify that email.
Yeah, verification email or something like that.
Yeah. So it wouldn't necessarily be like an account in terms of having to have a password and all of that. It would more so be like, I own this cabinet. I can prove I own this cabinet
by just verifying it through an email.
Absolutely. Yeah, the problem with that is
go ahead.
Then people can just type your email in if they know your email.
Yeah.
So that's why you have a password.
It sounds like easy solutions, but then this is why you can't.
It's turning Wi-Fi off absolutely necessary right now.
I would recommend it.
I would recommend it.
Strongly recommend it.
Don't trust them right now. Don't trust them. Oh my God. Don't trust iiRcade right now. They kick your door open when you're sleeping. That's the analogy I used earlier. Oh my God. Pulling games off your account. cabinet like that.
That I didn't expect them to do. Okay, patching the method, removing it from the store or whatever, I expected.
I am deleting Nix's cab right now.
I honestly did not expect them to go and delete it off of everybody's cabinets.
Oh. No, you don't see that coming because of the character and how they presented themselves in the PR space, right? You had a trust level built up. You wouldn't think that they'd go and do that.
Well, and then Michael goes, yeah, we're not moderating that Facebook group at all. Yeah, right. Everything's getting deleted with the excuse of, oh, it's confusing everyone. It's not confusing anybody.
The misinformation. The misinformation comment on Michael B's stream. Yeah.
Nobody's confused.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Yeah.
Well, is there truth to that? If you downloaded one of these games that was potentially unfinished, that it could damage your whole cab?
Okay, so yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because the guy the Bash Studios guy, Bill, he said that Tank Bash had it had the potential of overheating your cabinet when online, because there was a certain number of players that would be rendered all at once. Technically, there's no fan; these are passively cooled, so the CPU could heat up enough that it could crash.
Okay.
Does that mean that it would immediately brick as a result? No, because there's safety mechanisms for thermal throttling.
It'll probably reboot when it gets too hot.
The cabinet will power down
until it cooled down.
Just like it does with the light gun sometimes.
And I'd like to add, I read a Facebook post. Bill actually, he was aware
if
of
the
overheating, and he went in and kind of made some changes for the online, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, he did. B's video was voluntarily taken down. It was a mutual decision between B and I both, kind of. I mean, B ultimately made the decision, but he asked me first.
Yeah, it's the ruffling of the feathers, guys. It's just like, yeah.
We can harvest all the games from iArcade's biggest shill, Papa Brad.
I will say, though, that when they contacted B, they were very nice about it. They weren't demanding. Yeah. They weren't, you know, it was more so, you know what, we're dealing with a bunch of crap. This is causing more crap for us. Would you please remove this? And it was like,
it's just a conversation. It's good.
Yeah.
Nothing
They're not threatening anybody. They're not trying to come after anybody. And that's why I don't think that removing the cert game was intentional either. That's why I kind of said that, because so I will say that I heard from somebody else internally that they bragged kind of about patching that after they patched it.
Mm-hmm.
So there are two sides to the story, I guess, but
yeah, it's hearsay at this point. Yeah, a little vague. So, but nevertheless, what happened.
Yeah.
I've never had any games taken off, luckily. Okay.
Well, I'm just so glad I still have it on my cabinet. Papa Brad was playing earlier. I was playing earlier. It's a one heck of a game.
Yeah,
my biggest concern too is I did absolutely back up the entire store, but I want to remain legal and ethical about things. But then it's like, what happens if somebody factory resets? What happens if somebody was gone and had games in their library and they didn't get to download them? They're moved previously for storage. Like, how do we approach that? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's no rush to do it. Take your time to get it done, and just check all your boxes before you proceed. Yeah, in regards to that legality of it.
That's more so that library accidentally falls in somebody else's hands and ends up on archive.org somehow, and not much we can do once it's there. Nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of options there, unfortunately. But I don't know. I'm considering working with Malcolm or somebody else to try to get like developers that are still active on the store, like Mayhem Brawlers or Surge or all these other people. And if they don't want their game out there in the open, and they want to personally verify that somebody's purchased it in the past, maybe ask for a receipt of the email from the iArcade store or something, then maybe we don't. Their game doesn't accidentally fall in the hands of someone else.
Yeah.
There are some indie developers that could still use like some time to sell their title, like that Brock the Investigator. That company seemed upset that their game was only there for a month.
Yeah,
because I saw
That's
them
what I'm
on Twitter.
saying.
And so if they could use your method, maybe you remove it from whatever you're doing, and then they could use
I'm
your
not doing
method.
anything. Remember, it's accidentally falling in the hands of somebody.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. Hey, what's this? It's in my lap. What the heck? You know?
Yeah. Somebody else might accidentally get a hold of it. I don't know.
Got it.
But no, it's disappointing. I don't want to do that. It really sucks that I don't want. Like, I absolutely don't want to do that. Let me be clear. But at the same time, what options do you have when the store no longer exists? How can people enjoy those games? It's like,
Exactly.
hey, I have this really cool game on my cabinet. You would have enjoyed this. Oh, I can't get it anymore. That sucks.
Right.
That's one thing I'm concerned about with us streaming. Like, if we continue to stream these games from this cabinet, like Brad's got the whole library, and I probably have like 126 games. So there's going to be certain games that we're not going to be able to, do a show on because I don't have the copy on my cabinet. So I'd be in a situation where it's like that. So if there's a way to get them all later,
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I hope that through like Prince Malcolm or somebody that's been in active contact with developers, they can simply say, I don't want my game out there. I will support some other way to obtain it where I still get that profit or whatever from it. And that's perfectly fine. And then we would make sure that doesn't end up in whatever central library wherever unrelated or unaffiliated to me.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I don't know if that's even possible. It's like even be able to pay for the games that were on iArcade store to begin with. If the entire library is backed up and it's put on another store, like I wouldn't be opposed to doing that either.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to run a store. That's my point.
Well, that's the thing. You're getting paid for it. Exactly. You take it. Yeah, exactly. It's time consuming. You've got other things to do. Right?
I think it's absolutely amazing, though, that you found a way to back stuff up, because honestly, I'm thinking about this now. They basically said we're filing bankruptcy, but we're done in 5 days. So they knew longer.
Yeah, that's not much time. I mean, really, it's like, bam.
What it breaks down to is they didn't think things through about them ever closing because they didn't make a way for you to back up your cabinet. So now if something happens, you're completely hosed. You're done, and you could have $1,000 worth of games.
Gaming. Tell them about it.
It doesn't matter.
You know what's insane about that too?
Yeah.
When you download a game from their server, it's encrypted. It can only be installed on your cabinet. It can't be installed on any other cabinet.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. And unique code for.
So they could have made it to where you could download it from their website, offered you an option to like deliver it to your cabinet after that, or plug it into a USB stick once Glenn's deck comes out or something like that. They could have made these options like, hey, guess what? We're going to allow you to download the games from the store. They are encrypted. You won't be able to do anything else with them. And but when Glenn's deck comes out, at least you can plug them into your cabinet and install them.
Put it on a separate hard drive, thumbstick. Yeah. That would have been great.
And they didn't do that. Like there were options. If they would have thought it through, there were options to make this like legitimate to where, like I said, if you downloaded it, it wouldn't be able to install on somebody else's cabinet. Like if I gave you all that I have from the store right now, you wouldn't be able to do anything.
That's how you do it, Mikey. Yeah. That's how you
I didn't hear the last part. Say again, Mr.
You wouldn't be able to do anything with it whatsoever. The only reason I can is because I've already got access to the firmware and I know how they encrypt and decrypt things, so I can decrypt it all.
Yes, that's good.
So because my cabinet is compromised, I have the ability to decrypt it.
And then possibly everybody else will have that ability as well. Yeah.
Nope.
Oh no. Sorry, I'm mistaken. Sorry.
They patched root. You don't have root anymore, so you can't obtain your apps.
Man, they're really making it difficult, aren't they?
In the latest firmware, they patched it out so you can't get root anymore using the method that I was using. So that's a fun one that you guys probably weren't aware of. Every time your cabinet booted, you sent logs to them about everything you played, everything you did, all the things you accessed, all of that.
Did I approve of that?
Network
Did I approve of that monitoring, Big Brother?
Yeah, every Wi-Fi network in your home that was scanned for was in the boot log.
No.
And went to their server.
Why do they need that information?
It was just a giant log of stuff that they gathered from your cabinet every single time.
Yeah, now who has that information?
They could sell it
who
too.
has that information?
That's how they knew that I had root to it. That's how they knew to patch it. That's how they knew what to patch.
So Hollywood Polo wants me to let me know that At
so
Papa
glad
Brad's
I'm so glad I
Gaming.
pulled my credit card information off there.
Don't be scared. Team
and
Encoder will take good care of us.
Stolen it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Encoder. Can you say that again?
I said I would have been glad that you pulled your credit card information because their store was so insecure. Somebody probably could have stolen it.
Yeah, I've run into that problem a couple times. I've had to change accounts 2 separate times because my account's been compromised. I get my money back after the investigations.
If you use credit cards versus debit cards, I'd suggest using the extensions that your credit card company offers for virtual ones.
Yeah.
So when I sign up for trials online, I always forget to cancel them. Maybe you guys are guilty of this too.
Yeah, and they keep charging.
So I use virtual credit cards and make them expire the same day when I sign up for the trials, so that if they try to charge it, they can't.
I'm a member of Filmora
that's
for the
smart
next year.
You can't monitor that stuff all the time. You're busy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why you generate a virtual credit card using like a browser extension.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart.
Because the wife's always like, "Oh, I want to try this thing, and I need your credit card for it." So it's like, screenshot virtual credit card, give it to her. Okay, make sure you cancel that trial next month. Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
A month later, oh, we couldn't charge your account. Oh,
what's this charge?
Yeah,
no, you said you canceled it. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, it sounds like you guys have a wonderful relationship. Oh, that's awesome.
I learned that the hard way, man. That's too many of those stupid freaking trials for crap or whatever else. What was that?
Oh, that's me. That's an image of me apparently. That Papa Brad popped up. I don't know. He took that from one of my videos down. Well, thank you, Papa Brad.
Well, the current future of things.
Nick's reviews.
Okay, go ahead.
I think our future for iArcade looks not so bleak. I think it looks bright, and people like Ettonsoft are. I mean, those guys are great, dude. Just them talking to me, the fact that they were willing to like use this non-approved method, like screw it, let's just get our game out there. That sounds awesome. Didn't question it at all. They're just like, we're just gonna start posting B's video everywhere. Like they posted it in the official group.
Well, the recognition of their game is more than important, right? They because it is their first game. This is their dream. Like they watch their stream. They're both, like, one of them's a lumberjack, works at a lumber mill, and they do this in their spare time, and they stay up late to work on these projects. Their first game. This is their passion. Like, if they can make it big doing this, and they can quit their day jobs and focus solely on making games, like that's their dream. So definitely, this is worth more than any money that we get, is getting the recognition from their game, and that'll spread word of mouth, and that's going to give them more opportunities going forward.
And this isn't, I mean, this is a small community compared to some places, but it's not a small community at the same time. So
yeah, and word of mouth spreads. Like
one of the craziest things that I've seen, you don't realize how much impact Steam really has, like as far as game publishing goes.
Yes,
I was a lead developer for I'll call it an indie game. It's not necessarily an indie game. It was previously published by Microsoft. But I was a lead developer on this for a Steam release, we'll say. And we didn't expect it to hit very well. And it landed on the front page of Steam. And our impressions just went nuts the second that it went on the front page of Steam. We started at like 2,000 and went all the way up to like 30,000 within an hour. But the problem is you have to get there first, right? And that's kind of what I was saying on B Stream about this being now that it's like this homebrew thing, and that developers still have this option, or even what it was before, the selling point where they should have marketed this to developers was, you're not competing with 200,000 other apps. You're competing for the attention of 6,000 users, and you're doing it against, a few hundred apps. And most of these are going to be retro emulation already. We're looking for that unique, that new, that cool thing that works well with arcade sticks.
This is an interesting
question. That's what I thought
question.
iArcade should have always been from the get-go. Like,
this is a critical question.
This has nothing to do with the iArcade.
Wait a minute. At Papa Brad's Gaming, which sandwich did you get from Chick-fil-A night?
Oh my God.
Listen to this.
What?
When I found out we were going to do a stream, I skipped eating my sandwich.
Is that Sunjoy?
This is a Chick-fil-A cup. I've not ate my dinner. My dinner is during the show because it's too important of a moment. My wife picked up Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, is that Sunjoy or is it soda?
This is actually unsweet tea.
Oh, okay. I like their Sunjoy. Chick-fil-A is my obsession, dude. I had a frosted lemonade for lunch.
I love
You guys
Chick-fil-A.
are making me hungry.
The normal sandwich.
There was a question about the iArcade handling a game like Soul Edge. The answer to that's yes, because Soul Edge is before Soul Calibur, and we already determined it could handle Dreamcast, which will play Soul Calibur 1. So
DOA 2.
There you go.
I mean, the Dreamcast had an amazing. I mean, if you look at just the if you're into 90s arcade, I mean, a Dreamcast had an amazing.
And we
lineup.
didn't get any games that were that caliber.
So if you want to know,
we got no games of that caliber.
If you want to know why, I can almost guarantee that this can run Dreamcast. The Outrun, the arcade 1-up Outrun, I was running Crazy Taxi there at full frame rate, and that thing has like, I think 256 megabytes of RAM. Wow. And this is like what, 8 gigs?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're in a way better play field here as far as possibility of doing that than even that damn thing.
Yeah, from your chuckling, it's just like, we're in for a treat. What we're going to be seeing this thing run, the graphics quality. I'll be interested. Oh man, I just hope the monitor that we have in it makes the games look good. That's the other thing.
The monitor's okay.
You can mod anything though. You could replace the monitor. They have a specific model they know works.
I will decide on that.
Monitor for it.
The washout. When I was playing that space game, the Space Clown game, when I'm sitting in a stool, right? I have the washout in the upper corners with that game. So I have to stand up to alleviate that washout because the contrast of the colors they have on the screen, it was really hard to pick up because that's like
you have to sit or stand dead on perfect on the cab to get a good view because it's basically like
you can't look at it from below it like a dog's eye view or mainly below it is really bad. If you're below if you're sitting lower, like in a computer chair or something.
But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll see. We'll see how it looks.
It's fine for me, but I sit down on a stool, arcade 1-up stool, or stand.
At this point, there's no warranty either. So I mean,
no warranty.
Mod away. I mean, that's just like a green
another
light.
Opportunity to plug the GRS deck for Glenn. Like I said, get it. Like because for the warranty, no warranty. If there's something goes wrong with your control panel. You don't get a replacement. Get the GRS control panel because I believe this is a limited run. I don't think he's going to revisit this after this run because there's only 10,000 potential units out there of the iArcade. So get it now. Else it's gone forever.
Run. I probably agree.
Yeah. If you want it, you do not have to buy it.
Yeah, that's why I said I recommend. Yeah. Definitely get it, and like I said, it's spare parts too. Like if something happens to your control panel, you're compromised. You can't play. How are you gonna plug? There's someone that have to come up with a solution, and then maybe over time somebody does come up with more third-party solutions to be able to connect more hardware if something happens.
So there is a guy that I talked to that was saying that he was asking if there was a market for adapters outside of Glenn's deck to like connect SPCs to the stock control panel and stuff. And I kind of didn't answer him, but there are other people looking at that, I will say.
Okay.
Yeah, like a JAMA adapter where you could put a 60 in one.
Well, I think
it's not really an iArcade. You're basically gutting it at that point. I mean,
I think he was more so looking at the idea of just being able to put an SPC in it without having to have a deck or a special SPC or a Pi or whatever, like for the people where that market exists. And I was like, yeah, you'd probably get a few people, but there's a lot of people that bought this for the community behind it, not just, playing retro games. You can build a multicade easily.
Yeah, that's one of the that's one of the reasons why I got into it because they started having it online and it was the community Facebook page that drew me through it because when I bought the cabinet I went to see if there was a community behind it, joined it, and because of all the shows that were going on, I just somehow kind of got involved with it, and here we are today. I would say it's one of the best things that this cabinet has done for me was kind of get me on the scene and just be part of the community. And I've been having such a blast on this roller coaster of a ride we've been on.
That's the only reason why I mod any of these. Like that's I have plenty of PCs in my house. I have a cabinet with a PC in it that I play Cuphead and all of that stuff on. Why do I need to do it on this one? It's for the community more than anything.
Online, is that a possibility?
I hope so. I won't guarantee it.
Guarantee it, maybe.
I know.
Fingers
So
crossed.
I'll say that there's probably like a 60% chance, and the reason that I say that is the framework that they used is open source. So I'm hoping that maybe it's as simple as, deploying the framework they used and pointing it at a different server and hoping for the best.
Okay. Yeah, something pretty straightforward and simple. That's the one solution path you're looking at.
No,
okay.
I can't speak for everyone, but our little group, we were enjoying the online.
What's the other path you're thinking of that's more complicated? Because you're thinking about it.
Leaderboards.
What are you talking
Same
about?
thing. Huh?
Well, it just sounds like I think you had like a secondary solution to what we're talking about just now.
For multiplayer online, no.
Yeah, no. Okay.
Well, no. I mean, it can get more in depth than that than just standing there up. Like if they made modifications to the server, so I come from a game cheating background before I got into this stuff professionally, and one of the things you learn is when a game is built on an engine. The engine is always there no matter what they do, no matter what the game looks like. Like if you've played a lot of Unreal Engine games, you know that it's built in Unreal Engine when you play it. It just the way it feels. That same concept, because they used this thing that's open source, it shouldn't be a large step to make the same changes they did. If they made changes to it, is where I was going with it. So it could be simple. We could just have to stand it up, or we could have to look at, like I've reverse engineered their client and stuff. So I can, if there's something that it expects to be different on the other side, that doesn't mean that I can't, change the server to do that same thing.
Okay. So there is hope.
Yeah, I try, since going on B's stream, I try not to get into too much technical detail anymore because you can see him tune out half the time. Nothing against B, but
no,
like I don't. His wife's there.
Yeah, I can kind of understand like your thought process. I don't know every technical thing, but I can understand the principles of what you're discussing.
Okay, I got a question for the four of us. What do you want most from iiRcade right now?
From the iiRcade,
Circus Interstellar.
Yes,
Circus
that's so good. It's so good. My God,
excellent.
I'm gushing over that game. I can't say that enough. God.
This is what we want from the company before they like walk home for the day.
Before they exit. Yeah, exit stage left.
Circus Interstellar is excellent, and I think that's an excellent thing because you can't ask that much more from them. You know what I mean?
I got a different one. I want that. I want two things. I get to ask for two things, right?
You get double. You get a double dose since you're a guest.
I want Michael to upload the attract thing so that we can make them selectable.
Yeah, I want that too. Cool. Like I was thinking, if there's any way to make it so you can select it on your camera.
Chat, you can also, if you're in the chat, you can answer that as well. Feel free to type it in. I know Old Man Kaiju, and I am personally concerned about those leaderboards, but they might just be gone. I mean,
Brooklyn Menace has all of the track modes. He said he saved them all in full, so you could probably just clip them and edit them and put them into an MP4. Worst case.
Oh, you recorded them, Brooklyn? Like you sat there and actually recorded them, like on your computer, like through.
I don't think Brooklyn's in the chat. He said that in another stream.
One second. Let me answer this question from Don Juan. He said, "I want the things I paid for."
He's made his own file. Yeah.
He has some games that he paid for. He just wants the games that he paid for to go to a system now. So if iiRcade is listening, and I'm sure they are, make sure that you get him his games that he paid for. He says they're sitting in a queue and they're not moving. Now, I would say, what would you recommend?
I recommend right now is if it says queue in your library, you're going to
send it back to your library and send it back.
You're going to have to cancel the queue. It's probably not going to go back to what's in your library because you just canceled the queue. So you're going to have to actually uninstall the game and reinstall it. And the update will install with the game as you reinstall it.
Well, if it's in the queue, it's not installed.
No, but then the queue gets frozen. No, the queue gets frozen.
It does get frozen.
That's how you have to do it.
And the solution is usually the solution is usually to take it out of queue.
Yeah, but sometimes that doesn't
reboot
work.
Your machine. Turn your machine off and on, and then push it to the machine, and that usually gets it.
Yeah, and if that doesn't work, you have
especially if you're doing a bunch of games at once.
Yeah,
it can get confused.
You move them into the uninstalled, and then you put them back over.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Move it to uninstall, then move it back over.
I had to do that with Heavy Metal Titans because it was.
I had to do that too.
Yeah.
That's a known issue. That's probably not. That can probably be fixed.
He said he didn't receive his glass screen protector either. The glass screen protector is excellent. I love it. It was worth the money. I was surprised. I was not expecting it to be. You're probably gonna have to send an email to contact@iiRcade.com. If you did not, we need to try to talk to one of them and tell them to send Don Juan his glass screen protector.
I think that ship has sailed. To like they're done. Like if someone was asking about customer service related issues, go back to when they were starting to not respond to customer service.
Okay.
Like when that started happening, people were reporting that. That's when that was probably the cutoff for dealing with customer service.
Thank you, Beer
issues.
Mugger.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
The other option would be to call your credit card company and have them reverse the charge because you did not receive it.
Yeah, you can do that too. You can just call your credit card company and reverse the charges.
And that's the problem because how are you going to get this glass? Like a third party is going to have to come up with a glass solution because you're not going to get this glass anywhere else. So also, how many users bought the glass and got rid of their plastic original cover? So what happens if your glass breaks? Now you don't have a screen protector.
I have both.
Yeah, I kept my plastic in lieu of an accident happening.
Okay,
so I have a protector.
What do I want most from iiRcade right now? I want them
Mystery Encoder answered. It's everyone else's turn.
I want to send a glass screen protector to Don Juan and the organization, whoever else owned it. That's what I want. How about that? Yeah. I think that's awesome. They ordered it. They should get it.
The community can help you out because some people might have extra parts. Like I have an extra screen protector. They sent me too. Right. So I have an extra glass here myself. I'm not too sure what I want to do with it yet. But, it's possible other people are in my situation that have extra parts.
Okay, we'll see. Games are disappearing from the store.
Guys, where's the phone? Let's check the store right now. Let's see what happens.
It's what he just said. He said 139 games are left, so they've been shutting them down one by one.
Yeah, I haven't checked the store since 8 o'clock my time when it went down. I'm going to go
that must be a pain. They have to do it all individually. Wow.
Oh, cool. Let's get back in here. I got to refresh the page. Pardon me a second here.
I can probably pull it up. Hold on.
Okay, I'm going to just go in the search and see how many games. I'm going to scroll down. You said there was only so many in the store. Let me double check here. I'm going to scroll all the way down and see what the number is. Yeah, you're absolutely 120 games left on the store. That's it.
Oh, wow.
That is it.
That was quick.
Do we have any more questions for Mystery Encoder?
That's over half. That's over half the games.
Oh, yeah. Glad I disconnected. Let me pull this up real quick.
Unbelievable.
Let me pull it up. How do I do that? Share screen.
I'm going to see. I'm going to correlate the list of the games from the search and correlate to what's like on the top sellers, like the icons and say like Mayhem Brawlers. That's still on there. But it's still showing up on the.
Don't miss out on Trigger Dungeon.
Okay, yeah. So this is the store right now.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, you can see it's been skinnied a lot. Look how thin it is.
Well, Mayhem, Operation Wolf and Thunderbolt is still on there.
Yeah.
You would think you might be able to use a different amp.
Oh yeah, Mayhem Brawler's still on there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that list is so short.
I think I saw Metal Slug somewhere.
Did you?
Yeah, it's on my cabinet.
Good answer. It's on mine too.
It's on my cabinet.
I'm sorry, this is put salt on the wound.
This is what the
you set it up when we knocked it down. Thanks for that one.
Hey.
Yes, thank you.
when one door closes, another door opens. It's just
it is so true. It is so true.
It's a bittersweet day.
Why is it a sad day, guys? Remember the Grinch Who Stole Christmas and the Who's and Christmas Morning? Were they sad?
It is sad because
it is sad.
When they first announced this thing, I thought it was a cool idea, and that's why I backed the Kickstarter.
Yeah, I've accepted though at this point, so that's why I feel how I feel now.
We accept it.
I've accepted
at this
it.
point.
Like you can't fight this anger, denial, acceptance. You know,
Yeah,
you go through the emotions.
go through the full range of emotions with the iRcade shutdown.
I think we all did. I think when we first got announced, we were kind of all angry. Then we got upset because we were thinking we are gonna like lose all our purchases, all this other stuff, and then and now it's done. The store's closed.
It was a fun ride.
It was a fun ride.
It was a fun ride. It was an experiment, you know, and it's like all the things I like, you know, except for now, I'm kind of going full circle. Like I started with do it yourself. Started making my own main cab and being more hands-on, and I'm just returning to that.
But the thing is, these are good cabinets because, you know, not everybody knows how to make their own arcade cabinet. They don't have the technical background to do it, and it's great that they have these things on the market because it's already pre-built, pre-programmed. All you got to do is just, you know, sit down and play it in some cases, or you know.
Yeah, I mean, to me, iRcade was easy mode. You had a nice, almost like what you do it if you did it yourself. But they basically did all the work for you. It was, you know, it's easy.
Can I make a third request for something that I would have liked?
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
let me put up our wish list.
UI, man.
Yeah,
fresh UI. Well, it's late, but I agree.
I only say that because you guys you were talking. You said the
UI was atrocious.
Easy. It's confused. No, it's not just the UI. It's confusing. I don't like having to use a phone app or a website to put stuff on a cabinet. When
it should have been on the cabinet. Like the store should have been on the cabinet.
From day one.
With advertisements to games and maybe click a video, like put the video file on the cabinet. You could click like
Mystery Encoder. I know you're not an avid watcher of the iRcadians, but we've probably asked for that 100 times.
I know, but if they made a phone app, it's already on Android.
They could have done so much. The creativity, you're limited by your creativity. They could have done so much.
Well, they want to call it a console, but you know, my Xbox, I can go on there and go in the store. My Nintendo Switch, I can go on there and go in the store. That's the one thing that made you not be a console.
Thank you, Sir Sega.
Go on my phone, Google Play Store.
Yeah,
it'd be really cool if Glenn's deck allowed me to plug, or his SBC, if it allowed me to plug in my Xbox Series S, because that thing is cheap, but it rocks some power, and I'd love to play, you know, with the arcade sticks. That'd be great.
I still can't stop laughing anytime somebody starts bragging about Glenn's deck.
Okay.
I have a horrible mind. All right, every time somebody says Glenn's deck, my mind goes.
I hear you.
Okay.
I understand. I understand. Like I would kind of like to have that too. If there's any way, like what Glenn says, if HDMI it, if we could connect our other whatever to it systems, but to be able to connect to the control panel at the same time with that, because that's one thing I wanted to do with the Ridge Racer mod with the Buy Stuff Arcade, is like. It'd be nice to be able to hook the Switch up to and actually use the steering wheel, Arcade 1-Up steering wheel, to play Switch games. I had to build the shelf so I could put the actual peripheral of Mario Kart steering wheel to actually play Mario Kart with my Switch hooked up to it. That's what kind of would be like. I'd like to see on the arcade if you could do that. I don't know how hard that would be.
You guys want to fun fact about something else that I learned that was supposed to come to the cabinet somehow and didn't?
Ooh, interesting. Okay, go ahead.
Golden Tee.
Yeah, because they were working on the trackball. I mean, because I know the Bash guys were fiddling with the trackball because they were getting ready for the Glenn's deck.
That was on the store, and it no longer existed on the store at the point that I started pulling those unlisted apps. I was actually asked, like, "Oh,
that would have smashed the arcade wide open if that came legit to the and we had the trackball."
Yeah.
We can only theorize why that is.
Hindsight theorization. Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
well, I do know for a fact that some people were informed a month ago, or sooner than that they were planning on filing for bankruptcy.
That's true.
The rating was kind of on the wall
as well.
Yeah, it was slowing down.
They actually informed some people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's P-Dub's video. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Don Juan needs to know this. Hold on.
I
Try
will
to connect
say
to your neighbor's Wi-Fi. Hit A.
Wow, sniping P-Dub's video.
Okay, guys, real quick, I had a
Yeah.
couple people message me and say,
what
"Hey,
I'll
how
say,
do
if
I
you're not near
disconnect
anybody
my
else's
iArcade
Wi-Fi,
from
let's say
Wi-Fi?"
you live somewhere
especially
and there's
with them
nobody
going
else's
out of business,
Wi-Fi,
possibly
turn
shutting
your phone into a mobile hotspot and then try to connect to that, but and don't put a password in. And that, I think that's how you can do it that way.
Yeah. So you go to the Wi-Fi
well.
and you select a Wi-Fi that is not yours, and then you it won't connect.
You
and
go
then
over
you
to
just
P-Dub's
back out of
channel
it.
and you click on his video and he tells you word for word what to do.
Exactly.
I'm gonna put a link to this P-Dubs video in the chat right now.
Most people shouldn't have a problem with this because usually you're near other people's Wi-Fi, but in lieu of that, use your phone as the hotspot and make
you can use your phone if you don't have a Wi-Fi
and turn it into a hotspot. Yeah.
You
just need a different Wi-Fi to select to. That's all you need to do.
I am putting a link in the chat to this P-Dubs video that's going to show you step by step how to do it. Now, if you have a gold cab, it's different. If you have a gold cab, you have to disconnect the Ethernet cable. If you have it directly connected in to your Wi-Fi,
mine's still connected.
Mine would not shut off when I did this.
Mine's still disconnected. Yeah, I'll pull my screen up. It still has the X.
Well, I unplugged all I had to do is unplug my I had to unplug my Ethernet port for it to disconnect.
I can't see it on the screen. That little window.
Well, I can only speak for mine, so
but if
you have a gold cabinet,
all right, I'm going to switch back to me.
And then do the Wi-Fi disconnect and you're disconnected.
Yeah. Don't trust them right now, guys.
Yeah.
Disconnect.
I didn't know, so I just hooked it up to my hotspot and I turned my hotspot off, so I just changed my hotspot password, so now I can't possibly.
Yeah.
That's good. Good call.
I got a question for you guys, considering everything's kind of going under. What if multiplayer never did come back, what game would you miss the most that had that was on the platform?
That's a great question. A multiplayer game. Oh my gosh.
I really liked Breaker's Revenge a lot.
You know what I would have loved to have multiplayer?
Heavy Smash.
Mayhem Brawler would have been amazing.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
It's not about that's not the question he asked. He said what game that we had that was multiplayer.
Yeah. Okay, that'll be the game that should have been for my
golf.
Okay, well,
golf would be a good one. The major title golf.
2, Breaker's Revenge.
Yeah, Breaker's Revenge.
Up there. Breaker's Revenge.
I used to love the beat 'em ups, Night Slashers.
Was that something you guys did on your show every so often? Was play together? I know.
Yeah, Breaker's Revenge. Yeah,
I know UAG and those guys. Golf. They had their thing. Like, I could. I tried to talk to Moat the other day, and I was like, "Hey, what happened to your iArcade streams?" He's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Dude, you guys used to play together. I swear, they used to go on multiplayer, and it was on iArcade, and they liked it because they could connect to HDMI and." So
you could make assumptions as to why I don't want to speak, but
we don't need to deep dive into that. No, they have their reasons. Let's just say they have their reasons.
Yeah, their reasons.
There
you go.
Yeah. They have their reasons.
Okay.
I mean, it's their reasons, not mine.
Ironically, one of the reasons why I started looking at the board in the first place was because those guys were complaining about not being able to stream the Arcade 1-Up Fighters, and you had spectate mode.
Yeah.
So I was going to install the Arcade 1-Up software on the board, so they had a board with HDMI out that they already had in their house that they could stream as a spectator from for their tournaments. That was one of the original ideas.
It's such a pain to hook that because I do that.
That was a big mistake from the get-go. All these arcade cabinets from all these arcade,
they all should have
HDMI out.
No, but I'm saying that was one.
Toasters have HDMI out anymore.
All of those Arcade 1-Ups, most of the fighters, excluding Killer Instinct, were all Android. So it was possible to get them running on here well enough that you could at least spectate, so that they could stream their tournaments with an HDMI out.
Yeah, I got the equipment to stream that right now and right in front of me. And
because that's all you need.
You have to prepare every
stream.
Before
anybody did the LVDS splitter thing.
Yes, Mikey. They did have a nice curated list of certain games, like the Toplin library was great on iArcade.
Well, the curated
games,
the curated list,
Arc Systems games. Yeah, the curated.
It seemed like it was somebody's individual curated list. That's what it felt like.
Well, it might have been what they could have got. Let's be honest.
That's just the feeling I have. But you're probably right. But that's just the feeling I get when I look at the list. You just take a look at the whole list, especially when I first got the cabinet. It's just like, like I came in when they probably started getting some of the gooder titles, like Mayhem Brawler.
The gooder titles?
The gooder titles.
Better
absolutely.
titles.
Hey, this is my speak.
I hear you. It's all good. Hey, Brooklyn, you got a
Makes for
link. Come
interesting
join
viewing.
us.
What about if you realistically could have had any game you wanted on there? What would be
Hades.
your what?
Hades. This game.
Oh,
I don't
me?
know what that
Marvel
is.
vs. Capcom 2.
Hold on.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I would love to have Marvel vs. Capcom.
I would have loved
2
this
on
game.
the iArcade.
Why?
This
You have
game
the
needs to be.
cabinet.
This game needs to be played with an arcade stick.
No, but I said realistically, a PlayStation 5 game is
realistically?
going to run on a.
Oh no, this is on Switch. Like they've dumbed down
maybe.
versions. They
I don't
ported
know.
it. Yeah, it was on Switch. If they got the Switch port, maybe I don't know. It's not Android, but I don't know. Wishful thinking.
It'll be interesting to see with Glenn's SBC where that goes. What kind of game?
Okay. I'll give another game I would like to see on iArcade.
Yeah,
Soul Calibur.
If Doom can run on Switch.
Soul
do it.
Calibur, that's gonna happen.
Soul
You're
Calibur
just
would have
going
been
for
an
like
amazing
the
game.
big name titles, though. I was like looking.
I love those games.
Here, I got some.
Dude,
got
I have
some
a
titles I
Dreamcast.
want
I
that
have
are
a
not
Dreamcast
that are
literally
inde-
right
more
by me running
independent light.
DOA 2 right now.
There's a game I play on Steam I absolutely love. It's a cave-like shmup called Gunvein. I love that freaking game. I'd love to see that.
Oh, nice.
Another one, and it's on Steam and Switch. The other one that I just played recently that I think would be really cool is that Toxic Crusaders beat 'em up. I actually like that better, the way it played better than Shredder's Revenge. So there's two off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, Shredder's Revenge actually would have been. Yeah. I mean, now that
Shredder's
you mentioned
Revenge
that,
would
I
have
would
been
have loved
cool.
that on that cabinet.
Hey, welcome
too.
to the stream, Biggie D. Biggie D's Arcade.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome to the stream, Biggie D.
There was just so much potential for that cabinet to have.
Yeah.
Like it could have played, like I said, it could have played pretty much anything that's out right now. That's
This would've been
being
good.
purchased by other consoles.
Yeah.
If they would have just got, But exactly, it's all about the money, right?
Yeah,
It's
what I would
unfortunate.
like to see, I would have liked to seen a lot more gun games just because I have a gold cab. I mean, it's
gun games,
selfish.
sure.
That's
But I
easy
mean,
enough. That's
I felt
not-
like
So-
we got 2 good gun games and then it
not
ended.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need more.
not to step on Glenn's toes here, but a just USB edition for the Gen 1 is possible without soldering.
Mhm.
That's cool.
You could pretty much buy a USB, like a female USB port on Amazon with
Yeah.
headers pre-soldered on it, and you can actually plug it straight into the board and have USB. And on Sinden would work.
Wow.
What we really needed was more ColecoVision games.
Oh, don't worry.
Plug
Those
out
ones
there
didn't
for
get deleted.
ColecoVision.
If you sideloaded the stuff, those ones didn't get deleted. You're in good hands.
Okay, you mean I still have Mountain King?
Yeah.
There was some good Coleco.
Michael
There was
said
some
those
good
were worth-
Mega 8
ColecoVision
was good.
games.
Michael said those are worth.
There were
a
some good
penny on
ones.
that one stream he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You can't resell them. I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is gonna
Tell
be
your
very
girlfriend.
easy to do.
Yeah,
but I
90s Capcom fighters, 80s midway twin stick shooters.
Even beat 'em ups,
titles.
90s Capcom beat 'em ups too, would be good.
That means Robotron, 80s midway twin stick.
I told to die for.
Dreamcast
I go,
titles,
I
yeah.
want the entire TurboGrafx 16 library at my cabinet because those games play well on stick. I love TurboGrafx.
So interesting thing that was going on in the Team Encoder private Discord about this whole thing was they were talking about the reason why they might have to remove some of this stuff is it devalues the assets considering that they're going into bankruptcy.
Yeah,
So,
I can
like,
see that's
that's-
like property value type. Yeah, I can see.
But so doesn't
PR.
doesn't offering people the option to remove themselves from the ecosystem with Glenn's deck do the same thing? You're devaluing the assets of the company by literally encouraging that people remove themselves from your platform.
See, I don't really see a difference, Mystery Encoder. I see both of them as ways of modding the cabinet
I
to
can see.
but-
I can
but
make
see
us
that
do
from
new
that
things.
perspective.
you
From
know?
a value and business perspective,
Yeah, but I can see that. Yeah.
in one side you have all of these devices that are connected to an ecosystem. So let's say that I wasn't doing anything at all, right? And the only option being offered, which technically, officially, that's the only option being offered right now, is Glenn's board. You would devalue the company by telling people, hey, get rid of your original board, put this one in instead, because now whoever buys those assets, whoever buys the company or buys the property, no longer has that user base. You can't sell it as we have a user base of 6,000 users. You just told all of your users to take their hardware out.
Welcome to the stream, Punk Rock Dave.
Oh, hey, Punk Rock.
Yeah.
Dave, back from the deep sleep.
And
Punk
even
Rock
if anybody
Dave
were
for
to
the
buy those
iRcadians.
assets, Mystery and Code, if anyone were to buy it, like there's no way to go path forward because everyone's going to move on from this. And
No, I know. I'm just saying
Yeah.
from a bankruptcy perspective and value perspective, the way that you sell a company like that, like let's say they weren't going through bankruptcy and they were just trying to sell. Your selling point is we have 6,000 users.
Yeah, it'd be so devalued, and even if someone were to snag it up, you can't really like what's the value for the person purchasing whatever they have, except just to pick through it and just take what they need out of it, like just like personal information, all that stuff, account information.
Yeah.
But not
Oh,
really.
You're gonna start getting spam emails about the next Games home console.
Or arcade one-ups or something like that. Somebody
Mikey J Production says it seems like all arcade companies are scared to run Sega Model 2 and Naomi games. That is pretty much a truth.
No, well, Naomi
and Sega Model 2 games.
Naomi's different. Sega Model 2 is
from
different.
The big three. I'm sorry, the big two now. The big two. I can't say big three.
Big two.
Papa Brad needs to change his verbiage.
There's
the big
a reason
two.
You don't see Sega Model 2 emulation though, which is that,
Why is that?
The only emulators exist for Windows platforms, and none of these are Windows based, obviously.
Yeah,
they're Android, huh?
Dreamcast runs like a champ on Windows, like just runs perfect.
Yeah, the Casino-cade does look like an iArcade with really small screens.
Somebody made that joke, like the base. It's like, they just slapped something on iArcade base, and away you go. There you go.
I got myself in trouble with that earlier. One of the guys in our Discord was like, "Oh, my wife wants one of those Casino-cades," because we were talking about it. I was like, "Is anybody buying this so we could at least look at the hardware in it?"
$5.99.
And I was like, "I'm not buying it." And then he goes, "My wife wants one." I'm like, "I'll message my wife and ask her what she thinks about it." And I sent it to her, and she goes, "Oh, that's cool. I like Wheel of Fortune." I'm like, "No, you were supposed to say it was ugly or something."
You can't stop yourself now. Oh my God, yeah.
I got something for Jason M. All right.
There you go. He did it. He did it. All right.
But the price point is just ridiculous. So I heard they upped it $100, $5.99, and now I convert that to Canadian dollars. How much am I paying for that if it comes up here?
That's just for a warranty?
No, $5.99 for the Casino-cade.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the warranty. I saw the ad games warranty.
No, we were talking about the Casino-cade. Mr. and Code was talking about with his spouse about like, would you like this? And it backfired. She wants it.
Yeah, I was expecting her to say it was stupid.
Yeah.
They always have to price it $100 more than what they want to sell it for. So then when they do a sale for like $5.50 or $4.99, it looks good.
That's not going to sell well.
But that's what its real value probably is to them, I'm guessing. I don't know.
But I understand why, because it's 2 monitors in the thing, right? Like everything else is just
monitors
it's cheap.
Are cheap though. I mean, the pinball had 2 monitors in it.
But that's probably how they're going to justify the price of it. Like, hey guys, we had to up the price. Maybe this remodel they maybe put a bigger monitor in. I don't know. I haven't researched it.
Because COVID isn't a good enough excuse anymore.
No, because what they announced it, and it was like, what is it, a 10-inch monitor, 8-inch monitor they had for both of those screens, and then everybody kind of crapped on it, right? The screen's too small; it's hard to really see. So maybe they put a little bit of bigger monitor in. And it's like, oh, here's an extra $100. I don't know. Can somebody tell me if that is the case or not? I have no idea. I haven't been following it, but that is too much money in my opinion. $5.99.
That's price jacking steps. I guess so. They did list it at $4.99, then they changed their mind.
That's reasonable.
That is kind of
$4.99 is reasonable for that.
Maybe a Canadian prices.
I think another critical mistake of iArcade was all their consoles. They said they were a loss leader, where they were losing money selling them. I think that was a mistake.
Well, that's why you got such a high quality cabinet. Right. But that was an argument that people brought up about the iArcade. They said that when they released the gold, the other option was for them to make $299 cabinets. And this is just what I heard. I don't know if it's true. And they decided to go with the gold. But it sounds kind of far fetched. But if you could make it cheaper, it would have probably been better.
Was the gold ever sold as just a bar top or no?
No,
No.
it was only available as a complete arcade.
It was
Yeah,
never
and-
sold. It was never
I
sold
think
for 99,
everyone that bought one bought one for
$7.99.
$7.99. I don't know anyone that bought one
No,
for
nobody paid
$1,000.
$9.99 for it. Nobody did.
When did they stop from the Kickstarter to just anybody could buy a cab, right? Like that was
Mhm.
summer of 21, right?
I bought mine in 2022.
Summer of 22.
Yeah, up here in Canada, the Brick carried it. The only company that carried it up here.
Because they were, I mean, because then they went like they weren't. It didn't seem. It seemed to me that they weren't even out 6 months in the United States, or maybe they were just out 6 months in the United States, and then they said you can get that classic one for $2.99 for Black Friday, right?
Yeah,
Because that's when I bought mine.
that's when I bought my first one too. I bought 2 of them for $2.99, but
Yeah.
I only got one at this point.
I'd like to comment on the loss leader. Now, the problem with this is because they start from 0 user base, right? So to have a product that takes a loss leader is not the wisest decision, because this goes back to the big 3 companies, Sony, Microsoft with the Xbox, and the Switch. They can sell their new consoles at a loss leader because they already have that user base build up. They make the money back that they take on the loss of those systems through the subscription services and the game pricing. iiRcade wasn't ever in a position to do that. You're trying to build a user base and take a loss on your cabinets, so you're losing money right out the gate right. And then with the games on it, you have a certain amount of games on there, and like we talked about earlier about the consistent cash flow coming in every month. It was just a series of unfortunate missteps and events that just never got better, and it started, and it was just a downhill snowball, and then it started really curving and picking up. You know what I mean? That's what it felt like to me when I got in. It was just a slow decline.
Yeah, I mean, when they're selling the iiRcade for $199, I mean, that's a very big loss leader there.
Well,
even the original model. I mean, here's Jason.
They weren't in a
says,
position to make that money back. That was my point.
$2.99.
Not in a position to make the money back on the loss of the sell the and the same thing. The gold cabinets were a loss. They didn't make any money on any of the hardware they put out, if you think about it.
Well, here's the thing. You could sell things for almost whatever price you want if you have
to the stream hobby
games to back it, right? And you could say Dragon's Lair is great, Double Dragon's great. Okay, cool. But like if they had got a major company like a Sega or an SNK or a Capcom one, and not just like 5 random lower end Sega titles, but like the ability to release more of them.
Yes,
then you could have said my cabinets are on sale for $500, and people would have bought them because the titles would have been there.
Yeah, and with the monthly cash flow consistently coming in, because you're putting out those titles that all the users are going to buy, right? That's what you want. The goal is to have every user buy the game, not just a few people. That's just, you can't do that. It's a recipe for disaster, which is hindsight is what ended up happening. Right,
they're not all going to be winners, and that's fine. If it's a console, you're going to get.
But you have to try.
You have to have. You have to have some. Yes,
you have to go out there, do the legwork, and bring people in that know what good games are and what games are going to sell. Not like these. No, I don't think there was a consultant with that. And maybe you're right. Probably they were limited on what they could get.
Yeah,
but maybe they had bad advice on what they should have went to go after. You know, and that's what I'm getting at. Right? They could have went after other things than what they went after.
They clearly couldn't get Shinobi, but they got Shadow Dancer, which I think is better.
Yeah.
But like it's there's little things like that, where they look for like names that they recognize, and I think they recognize Space Harrier. But if they had Shinobi, that would be one. Golden Axe.
Taito was good.
Stuff like that. Taito had some good titles, but
that was a good.
They didn't get that at first. They should have started at first right away.
0 games in the store. It is a wrap.
Taito titles that
we didn't get Bubble
now
Bobble.
You're never going to see, right?
Yeah, Bubble Bobble.
Who's going to do them?
Never.
Tell them you want Bubble Bobble.
Yeah, it's too late now.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm not gonna get. Yeah, you're right. I'm not
Too
gonna
late
get-
Yeah,
now.
we're never gonna get Bubble Bobble
Yay,
unless we
my
mod it.
hacked
Wait, what do we
MVSX, right?
emulate
Bubble
Bubble Bobble on? Which Bubble Bobble is the best? I like Bubble Bobble. I just
Dave
don't know which
loves
one's the
Bubble
best one.
Bobble.
Like
The original.
the original,
The original
one, like,
arcade game.
Yeah,
Fun game.
It is a great game.
I like the NES one better, but that's just me. I take the arcade
which is
game.
which
for
is supposed to be a recreation of the arcade.
Yeah.
One of
but
my
yeah, they're
favorite
all
experiences with one of those like images that you download for a Pi or whatever, where it's preloaded full of games and all that crap. And first, it's overwhelming because there's too much stuff. And then I tried to find Bubble Bobble, and I found this one with like a nude Japanese chick in the background. So when you remove the things, it just shows the Japanese chick. I'm like, what the hell is this? I just wanted to play Bubble Bobble.
get the kids out of the room.
Hey,
Hey, I think the wrestling cabinet
different
looks
culture.
nice.
They don't have the hang-ups we have on some things.
It is.
I-
The retro wrestling cabinet is a really nice.
Yeah.
cabinet.
I like
Yeah.
it.
I didn't.
Toplin
like
got me to
retro
buy an
wrestling
ugly
cabinet.
wrestling
No.
cab.
No,
Yeah, Toplin was a reason.
the
to
price
have
point
iRcade.
difference was crazy between that cabinet and the OG.
Jukebox is the only thing left in the store.
And it did the same thing, right? It's just the storage difference, right? For the between the Dragon's Lair and the
doesn't
Retromania
have
Wrestling and the
jukebox?
OG.
Don't worry, guys. If you didn't get Jukebox, you can still get it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
we got jukebox. It's awesome to pair Bluetooth with it.
You know what's ironic about that? The first
No.
hack I did was replacing Jukebox with what I called Juked Box with a Team
Juked,
Encoder logo on it.
Juked. I like that. Juked. Yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot of there's if you're looking for an iArcade still because you want these mods or want to just have fun with it, you need to look at Facebook Marketplace now because they're not going to be available later, especially at the prices they are. I think this is going to be the low point.
If you're up here in Canada, the Brick still has it for sale. The Retromania Wrestling and the Dragon's Lair cab. That's the only two they have.
How
for
are
sale
they going to
still.
sell cabs where you can't install
you
any
can't get
games?
any
They're still for sale. They're on the website.
They're going to have to blow those out dirt cheap.
We have to wait to release any mods until they drop them to like $100.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
At this point, if you're buying it for parts.
That just gives you more time, right? So
Yeah.
No, I'm making a joke. I don't care either way.
okay, now that's
didn't buy
funny.
one
Now,
yet.
now I got the joke.
Yeah,
There we
sorry,
go.
How would you even like? The thought occurred to me: what would if something happened to your machine and you had to reset it for some reason, and now you're boned? Right? Is there any way that somebody could maybe do something so that you could at least take what's on your hard drive that you bought and like image it or something?
Yeah, back it up.
Yeah. Or just somebody who has all of the games work with somebody who could maybe make it so that we just end up with all the games that they had on the machine, right? I didn't say that.
Yeah, well,
I think it's a work in progress, I think, right now. And it's a wait and see. I think that's where we're at.
Clicking the leave studio button the second he started saying it just to be a dick.
I don't know who we're talking about.
Speaking for the common man, I'm sorry.
No, that's how I would answer that. It's a wait and see, and it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
I think from what we've learned so far. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can sort of answer some of it. Like, is it possible currently with the planned modification or whatever you want to call it to back up your personal arcade? No. Unfortunately not, which is why having the store backed up mattered a lot. Could it be possible to do a hardware method in the future? Yes, absolutely. That's one of the things, if any of you know who Bobby Vu is, I think Steps does for sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
I do. Yeah. Great guy.
He actually just helped out one of the guys that's on our team by sending him a full bar top. So one of the guys on our team that specializes in hardware more than I do is now going to have one of the Gen 1 PCBs, and that's really good for us because right now there's like the USB interface that Glenn uses, and then if any of you have ever looked at the board before, there's the thing that very obviously looks like a USB. Neither of those are capable of actually talking to the board in any way other than like a light gun would or peripheral. I mean, you can plug a keyboard into it if you wanted to, but it's not going to do much. There is, and I'll say this because it's not something they can exactly patch or remove now. They'd have to build new hardware to remove it. on all boards like this, there are other USB interfaces that allow you to read and write to what I think his name is Punk Rock Dave or something like that. What he referred to as a hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere on the board, there's this other USB thing. We don't know where yet, but it exists. We know it exists. It has to exist. So we got a pretty good idea. But if we get to that point, that would allow you to back it up. The interesting thing about that is if you did back it up that way, it would be encrypted. So you couldn't just go and steal apps and hand them out to other people.
Yeah,
it would be
specific.
In your cabinet.
Specific to your own unique cabinet.
So it wouldn't promote piracy.
Well, I mean, and honestly, what was saying, not piracy aside, right? Like I've spent however much in the game store, right? Brad, you have every every game they ever did. And if something were to happen where
it's a legit concern in the community,
yeah, if something got glitchy and you had to reset it, right? Like we knew that you had to reset it. You'd lose all of that. So now you just have this monitor and some 1.22 gigawatts.
Yeah, some hypothetical malfunction where games won't load ever when you click on them, or something just happens with your system where a reset would be.
I will say this: it's been pretty stable so far.
Oh,
I mean, I've had this thing for how long, and I've never had any problems. So
Right.
It's been pretty stable so far.
I don't know, man. Mine's
That is
broken.
a fear.
Mine's constantly broken.
Did you take yours apart?
But you are the mystery. You are the mystery encoder.
Did you forget a nut and bolt when you tried to put it back together? Yeah.
No, the other day I accidentally shorted some pins on there and it rebooted. And I was like, "Oh, is it gone? Is it dead?"
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah,
I posted a picture of
not the standard
of a
user.
USB wire I cut up. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I saw it.
No, I didn't see it. Oh dear.
It's literally like I cut the end of a USB wire and there's just a bunch of wires going everywhere. The shielding's hanging off the side, and it's like if I move this just a little bit to the left, I'll probably short the entire board.
I hate to derail this, but mystery encoder, what is your favorite iArcade game?
Truxton.
Truxton, yes.
Yeah,
Yes!
the first one. The first one.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I would prefer
Thank
Truxton
you.
1 over 2.
I will say that is the only use that my iArcade ever actually got was playing Truxton.
I love Truxton. Yeah,
I hated how ugly the cabinet was.
That is the correct answer.
One of my goals on the Arcade 1-Up to get. I'm obsessed with Truxton. So
Truxton is a masterpiece.
I want to get that on my cabinet.
My Tron cabinet have to run Truxton because I would like to play it with a yoke and a joystick. I think it'd be fun. But
no,
haven't gotten there yet.
Glenn could make that happen.
No, with the stock board.
That would be cool, man. Yeah. Oh.
And it's funny. Well, actually, so funny story. We've actually already done it on the Star Wars one, but
yeah, I have that Star Wars cabinet
yes,
too.
He did definitely void his warranty.
Yeah.
Well,
I've voided my warranty to put in Glenn's gate restrictor.
You know,
those warranties.
Hey, we're talking about
we're
talking about voiding where I voided my warranty.
There is no warranty now; they're bankrupt.
With my OG cabinet when I first got it, I had to void it right away because of there was a screw loose on the player one joystick, like on one of the four corners.
Yeah.
So when you go to use it, when you hit the one gate, it would clunk because you didn't have that firm.
You can't be afraid to touch things in a home
arcade. The only way could tighten that
stuff
screw.
Breaks.
It wasn't broken. Games. It wasn't broken. They didn't tighten the screw properly in the manufacturing process. So for me, and see, this is what ticked me off about it. I had to actually void the warranty to get access to tighten that screw. That's all I had to do. I didn't have to call customer service and make a ticket. Hey, send me a new deck because the joystick. So now my warranty, that's what I hated about that OG design is like you couldn't do anything with the joystick. So because of
they put it in that box with a seal on
I had to void my warranty immediately so I could fix it and then have that gameplay experience that I wanted, which was ridiculous. I didn't like that. Thank God nothing happened during the warranty period. But yeah, that's unfair to me that I had to do that. You know what I mean?
My board's not in the control panel, but my warranty's not voided.
Yeah.
My warranty's
magic
still intact.
Magic. There's some magic afoot there. Snap a quick.
I
There we go.
intentionally lifted the warranty sticker without it showing the void thing because I know how those work.
Yeah, you got. What you got to use some heat or something. The
Kinda,
adhesive.
yeah.
Space M's killing me. He said warranty side under the bed within 200 miles of mystery encoder.
Brad has 50 iiRcades.
It's like Chuck
He'll be
Norris,
fine.
right? Yeah, exactly.
what
It's like that
Brooklyn
Chuck
said.
Norris meme, right? Yeah. It's under the bed.
Chuck
I
Norris.
intentionally made sure that mine didn't void it because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get another board, and I didn't want to buy a whole new cabinet.
Yeah, and that's smart.
What's Punk Rock Dave's favorite game on the iiRcade?
Oh man. That's tough.
It is tough.
Do we need to come back to you?
Yeah, let me ponder that one.
I got a couple
for a little while
Your
longer.
Truxton, you're fired.
No.
No repeats. No repeats.
I'm not a huge shooter. You know, I really enjoyed when Brad was going down the Dommy path, right? And he was like,
Tommy, really?
Tommy? Okay.
Well, yeah, Dommy was really fun, and like
It was a
Egg
fun
was
retro
really
game.
fun. I spent, you know what it is? It's
You'd be surprised what can be fun.
What is it? It's the one that comes with it. Is it blocking that
Yeah.
comes with it, or Magic Drop? It's like this. It's a like almost like a
puzzle
Tetris.
game.
It's like a Tetris kind of game. It's one of the ones that comes with the machine.
Well, that 3D Tetris game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game. I know what you're talking about. I forget the name of it. Yeah.
I think that game, out of all of the games that I have on it, I've played the most because I can just sit there and just do it, right? Like I'm an old like, you know, Game Boy kid. that green.
Oh yeah. I remember. Yeah, Game Boy Tetris.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you
I
just
love
play
that.
Tetris. You link the two of them.
Game Boy
and then
Tetris.
you could sit there with your friend and just hand them blocks, and they'd hand them back.
It's one of the best Tetrises ever made. Was the Game Boy Tetris, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'd have to say it's I think it's block. It's either blocking or Magic Drop. I can't remember because there's
No.
both of them are on there.
Steps.
Let's see. It's hard to
Favorite
choose
iiRcade
'cause there's a
game
lot-
from the library.
That's Dugan is on my
That's
list
Sugan.
for sure.
That's a good game. That would be a good number one.
It's freaking great. And,
Jeff, you're going to be up next.
I'm gonna say
I've got
one game.
One game.
One game. I wanted to give you a
You get
modern
one game.
too.
No, just one game.
Just one.
Like 3 or
Okay,
4,
fine. That's
5. I don't
That's
know.
Sugan.
I got a list.
You got to pick one.
Is it my turn now?
I can go
Or
next.
Sip-
I
or
already
Sip-
know. I already
or
know
Sip
my
still
favorite
thinking.
games.
Okay, go, Brad. Go. What's
Trucks and
yours?
2.
I love trucks.
Says Truckson's taken.
God, so many memories of the great games that I play. It is hard to pick one, honest to God, for me. I know everybody wants me to say Space Invaders. It is such a tough.
Blockout or
It's-
Magic Square.
So
Which
tough.
one is it, Dave? Is it
Maniac
Magic
Square.
Square? Maniac
what-
Square.
I'm gonna
Maniac Square is his favorite.
I'm gonna go with. I know Space Invaders are good, but that's not gonna be my number one. It's probably either
I
gonna
didn't
be
think about that.
Galacticon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Galacticon is amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I had the most enjoyment with that because I had a score chase with CP Fluid. Like he's got like 5 million points as a high score, and I got like 17 million. And the funny story about that is I had to keep my cabinet on for 3 days to get that score. I just stayed in one level and just point boosted, and it was painful. And then I set that, and then he came and beat that score, and I'm like, guys, I'm not doing that again. I'm not leaving I'm not.
The
Take
leaderboard
number one.
battles on
Take number one.
iiRcade were insane.
You can
People
have
were
it.
really
Not doing that
serious
again.
about score chasing on iiRcade.
Yeah, Galacticon. That's my choice.
Yeah. Tony C says Ninja Baseball Batman.
As
Night
soon as they were like, we're done, we're shutting down the store, we're doing get what you want to get now. I went because I didn't get Ninja Baseball Batman.
Infinity Gene.
And I went and I got that one. It's fun. It's really fun.
You know
Retro
what,
game, Moon Patrol.
What would have been nice is if they had a way where you could demo games, like even if it only let you pay it for 5 minutes or something. Because that was one of my biggest. I'm relatively young compared to people like B. B's yelled at me for being younger than him before, so I wasn't around for the original
It's
arcade.
okay to be young, dude. It's all good. I'm 42.
Yeah, I'm 33, but I wasn't around for the original arcade scene. So it was like, I don't recognize a lot of these games. If it's an indie title and I see like a YouTube video or whatever, it's something I might want to check out. But it's like, like one of my biggest problems with this as a console is I didn't know if I wanted a game or not. I didn't know if I wanted to go buy a game, and you couldn't just base it on watching somebody else play. So if we would have had
you
like
learned the 30 minutes that you could refund it.
yeah, but then you have to go through that effort. That sucks. That's like
Yeah, you shouldn't have. Yeah, it's just like forgetting about canceling a free trial subscription service that we were talking about earlier, right? You just got to just be charged.
well, I'm in
Right, so you have to do that extra step to go
so.
back, click refund, and go through all that hassle.
And there's
right?
a lot of people that bought games and they were disappointed in them after the fact, and they just kept them anyways because it's too much hassle. Or
But that's with any game, though.
I didn't even
That's
know
with
that.
any game. You
No,
can
no,
say
no,
that about any
but-
game that's ever come out.
Games
No,
were
no,
that
but no.
expensive anyway.
But the
Yeah.
problem is most users the game would come out, maybe possibly a new release, they'll buy it, they wouldn't be at home, right? And then when they get home to try it, they've already went past that 30-minute
I also
expiration
wasn't
window.
aware that you could do the refunding until he just said that right now. That wasn't well advertised. It's not
No,
like
see now that's a good segue to add the advertising.
We
issue.
talked about it on this show.
They did not do enough
They
advertising.
did not advertise and market
their
correctly.
product.
watch all of the YouTube channels all the time. I took like a
I
year
hear
off
you.
from all of this.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Believe me.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The only reason I knew iiRcade exists is I had to actually Google multicade on Google search to see what was available products to buy when I was in the market to looking for one. Other than that, there was no advertisements popping up in algorithms feeds when you go on various websites. There was just no advertisement anywhere for it.
Yeah.
I know they were on the Price is Right. I remember that. I guess they went and did advertising there, maybe spent money to get it on that show for advertising, but I think that was about it that I'm aware of. Anybody else?
See, I knew about it because I, was in the YouTube community to some degree at that point still. So I ran into their streams, their, weekly streams with Colin and Jong.
How about you, Brad? Anybody else?
Shout out to Goofy Foot, channel member.
Anyone else want to weigh in?
New game Saturn,
Chat.
old game Pop Flamer.
I didn't get to say a new game.
Yeah, it was only one.
You feel cheated? You need a new game? What's your favorite new game?
Galaxy of Champions.
Galaxy
TV.
Champions. I'll say Donut Dodo
Yeah, that's
is
a
my
good game,
favorite.
Galaxy of Champions. I'm glad they actually, before they shut the store down, they moved the dash button to a
Although
more
it's
comfortable
tough.
ergonomic position.
It's tough.
my
They did have a
God.
lot of modern retros that I like, but Donut Dodo's would be towards the top for me.
I gotta
Jeff?
say that Trigger Dungeon for me.
Trigger Dungeon.
I think is just gonna. I will always love that game because it pisses you off so much. And I remember, I got that
You're
game.
masochistic.
And I immediately sent a message to CT Jason. And I said, "You have to review this game because it is going to be the best review you've ever done of a game."
Breaking news right there from Chris A.
Uh,
Servers now offline.
I thought they weren't taking it off till Friday.
Wait,
That's what it is.
You mean server now offline? Like if he tries to log
Let's expand on that. What do you mean by server, Chris?
Why don't one of you guys experiment and see if you lose your games?
Oh, guys.
Yeah, I'm
All
not
right,
gonna do that.
breaking news. I just refreshed my app. The only thing that is showing on my app now on the store is the jukebox.
Wasn't that said earlier?
Yeah,
I
it was.
said earlier. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, the store's wiped, shut down. How about when I go into my account now? Let's see, is everything what's gonna show up here in my games and whatnot? Oh, this is interesting, guys. My unit's not showing up. Oh wait, it took us some time. There it goes. Fuck, pardon me. Took a long time. Okay, my games list is here, so it's all there. Nothing says it's in queue, which is good. Unless they do something on the back end, like we talked about earlier. But yeah, the store shut down. Yeah, the genres are gone. When you go into the other minute, yeah, it's really stripped down. The store is so stripped down. So yeah.
Oh well.
So you have it.
That's what they said. They said that was happening. It's done.
There you go. I don't know if you can see that on my web. Yeah, see,
Yep.
that's it.
Yep.
Jukebox.
Got
That's
the
it.
end and the new beginning here. So
Yeah, come on, guys. You didn't even have
got
a
the
week
new
to prepare.
beginning and the end.
You should have had this
Yeah.
already in 5 days.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? As the title of our show, we
Remain playing.
we remain playing. Absolutely.
Certainly going to remain playing. And
Anyway.
is it time to wrap it up?
I think so. It's been a long 2 hours.
I think so. Well, first we have to give a very,
show.
very, very, very huge thanks to Mystery Encoder.
Yep.
Thank you so much. This is a monster thank you for you.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah. Right on.
Thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure meeting you in person, having you on the show. You're always welcome to come back on anytime you want.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Well, very
And
welcome.
Thank you for helping to keep our systems, breathing and having something to look forward to.
You're doing the Lord's work.
I can't thank you enough.
Well,
So
match
thank you.
then don't get scared when one cabinet out of all of them breaks. I'm joking. I'm sorry. Anyway.
Thanks a lot. Does anyone have anything they
Hey,
want
we
to
have
promote?
to in the spirit of sadness, we have to have levity. We have to bring the enjoyment back and move on, because like I said, exactly, we remain playing. Exactly. So get on those iArcades and play all those games you just downloaded and enjoy the memories that this cabinet's going to bring you for years to come going forward.
Absolutely. Steps, closing words.
I've really had a great time in the iArcade community, and I'm hoping it continues to whatever level we can. And I thank people, that are doing the work of keeping it alive in different ways. I appreciate being here tonight on this awesome stream. A good way to say goodbye to the official iArcade. Please join me on Steps Gaming as I push to my goal of 1,500 subscribers so that we could have a sweepstakes courtesy of Bobby Vu to die for, and you could have your chance at winning a free Arcade 1-Up cabinet.
Shout out to Bobby Vu.
Bobby Vu. I would like to say thank you to my good friend Punk Rock Dave for hopping in, giving us the everyman's view of what's going on with iArcade. One of my good friends, I talk to him all the time, and thank you so much for just popping on and giving us your perspective. I would like to add a Mystery Encoder in here.
What now, huh?
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Wait a minute. Look who we got. What? Who is this guy?
Great fun.
Are you kidding me? Who is this?
I'm coming to St. Paul real quick, you know what I mean? It's one of the last official iArcade shows, you know what I'm saying? I see
Hey, Cuts, you're about to get blocked. You better watch
Who's getting blocked?
No one.
I thought you were about to block class. I'm sorry. I just want to bust in and say what's up, everybody. It's been a good run for the iArcade. I enjoyed the system. I downloaded all them games. I did exactly what the Mystery Encoder said. I got all them games.
Yep.
Dragon, what was it? Double Dragon 1, 2, and 3. Yes, sir, I got all that shit. So I'm satisfied. Yeah. But I definitely want to play some more games. Please open it up, Mystery Encoder. Make it open for everybody. Teach us all the ways. Thank you, sir. You're doing God's work, just like they said earlier.
At this point, yep.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
So
Heavy Metal Titans.
I feel pumped up now. Thank you for that, CT Jason. Oh man.
Yes, sir. You have a good night.
Absolutely, sir. You as well.
Thanks, CT.
Punk Rock Dave, he kind of moved on to Mystery Encoder before you had a chance to say what you wanted to say. Did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank iArcade because I had so much fun with you and made so many good friends, and I'm very sad that it has turned out this way. I really wish it hadn't, right? But thanks, Jong and Michael and Colin and everybody, and good
Who's got the tissues? Oh my god.
Brad, are you back? Are you back? You're in control of your show here?
Yeah, I'm back in control of my show.
Do you have anything? You were going to Mystery Encoder. I see if you had any parting words, right?
Yeah, we're not going anywhere, We're still going to be around, and this is just the beginning, not the end, We will remain playing, and
did Mystery Encoder have any parting words?
To be continued. I don't think. Do you want to say something, Mr. Encoder?
See you on the leaderboards.
See you on the leaderboards.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you. With that, stay
Thank
legit.
you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, who joined. Thank you.